Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Good afternoon and welcome to Hangin with Hester and Hanny. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 The Tiger in Shreveport, and on CST, as well as YouTube. If you'd like to watch us on either one of those venues, Cade Wazell on the audio board, Paul O'Neill on the video board, and along with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff. If you listened to the show on Friday, you really didn't much need to watch the game. For instance, we both told you that Kansas City was unlikely to score a touchdown in this game. We told you that Rob Gronkowski would return to his former glory and catch 2 touchdown passes in the Super Bowl. We would have told you that the Tampa Bay defensive front would dominate the Kansas City. Actually, we did say that.
Yeah, we did.
But the rest of that stuff is, of course, no, we didn't have that. 31-9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl over the Kansas City Chiefs. Tom Brady, you've heard all of that. In the interest of sanity, I will give you a break from the Tom Brady stuff for a moment and concentrate a little bit more on a local angle and what happened in this game.
The only thing I'll say about Tom Brady, I kept using the word inevitable about the Chiefs offense, no matter what you did. I should have said that about Tom Brady. And I told you in Dixon, he was my guy that gave them the X factor before the playoffs started. I thought he would get them to this point, potentially. No, I mean, I could not guess what he would have been able to do to get to the Super Bowl. He played well last night, and, you know, did he light the scoreboard up through the playoffs? No, but just his presence there, and we'll talk about that later on in the show, it's remarkable.
Well, I'll give you the edge before we get to the other guy. Rob Gronkowski, if Tom Brady's not there, does Gronkowski sign with the Bucs?
No.
Antonio Brown, if Tom Brady's not there, does he sign with the Bucs?
Oh, Bucs wouldn't have signed him. Yeah.
Leonard Fournette, if Brady's not there, or the Bucs, does that come together?
No, they would have been fine with Jones.
Yeah. Those guys scored all the touchdowns.
Yep.
those 3 guys scored all the touchdowns for Tampa, and none of them would have been on the team if Tom Brady wasn't there.
And I can't emphasize this enough. And when they won the first playoff game or the second playoff game against the Saints, a lot of people saying, "Oh, Brady, he didn't look great. Those couple of interceptions against the Packers, it wasn't him, but that's not the reason they won. It was the defense." But I can't tell you what getting a guy like that in your locker room means. And there's only so many of those that have ever played the game. And Peyton Manning was one of them. When I got to Denver, it was Peyton's first year as well. Denver, at that point, was not a very good team. You know, they were coming off Tebow. They had some good defensive pieces, but it's kind of the same blueprint. Peyton changes everything. What did he do? Well, he brought Brandon Stokely back, Dan Copen, who had been the Patriots' longtime center, Keith Brooking, who was on his last leg, but he brings a guy like that in. Jim Leonard brings him in. Like all of these like small pieces, these veteran players.
Guys that went back to play just because he was there.
Just because he was there. Yeah. And that's what you can get, and it's like a great nucleus. Now, we didn't win the Super Bowl, but we were 13-3 that year, won 11 games in a row. Guys like that, people gravitate towards, and just everything that he does, like everything that Tom does on a daily basis, he demands you to be great in that. And only so many people can get that out of everybody in the locker room, but Tom gets it.
So the Buccaneers, who were shredded in the regular season by Kansas City, did a couple of things. First of all, Kansas City's offensive line, how big a deal was the 2 backup tackles? A massive deal, because the Buccaneer defensive front dominated the Chiefs defensive front. Best defensive performance by a line since, defensive front. The Broncos steamrolled the Panthers 5 years ago. It had some similarities to that Giants win over the Patriots when that particular defensive front, just led by Justin Tuck that day, had just, he was one of the ones, over Brady and the Patriots. So that was one thing. The Buccaneers decided, Todd Bowles put a great defensive game plan together, decided that if they could get pressure with 4 and contain Mahomes with 4, which they for the most part did, then they could play 2 deep that were so deep they could have been
1% of the time.
they could have been lined up in Orlando for all we knew. But this was the one that Tyreek Hill is not getting behind us. I don't care how far we have to go down the field when we line up for the snap. He's not getting behind us. And because they were able to get pressure with those front four, they never had to really break that. I think they weren't in too deep, maybe 8% of the time or 9% of the time, if I read the stats right.
If you add in cover 2 and 2-man, they were in 2 deep safeties 59% of the game. I thought
it was more than
59%. Haney, that's so that's almost unheard of. They play quarters coverage, which is 4 deep 25% of the time, cover 3 12.5% of the time, and only 1 high safety 3.5% of the time. I mean, they came in with a game plan. Look, you can throw all this underneath stuff to Travis Kelce, and Kelce, number-wise, had a big game because of it. We don't care. That's fine. We'll live with that because you're not going to beat us over the top. Like, we're going to be – it's like the old outfield rule in baseball. The old coach comes out, hey, no doubles. That's what they did. They did that last night, and it was a hell of a game plan that worked to perfection. And Patrick Mahomes, he was running for his life. I've never really seen a quarterback that as soon as he caught the ball was really trying to find just a way to get the ball off. And Mahomes traveled 497 yards before throwing the ball or being sacked. That's the most scramble yards in a game by any quarterback since they've kept the stat since 2016. So 497 yards. This man was trying to run around like it was draw it up in the dirt, backyard football, just to get the ball off. And he did most of the time.
It's like one of those videos if you just took all of his scrambles yesterday and you put the circus music in the background and put it on fast speed, like that kind of thing.
Yes.
That's what he was doing. He was sacked 3 times, and any normal human being would have been sacked at least twice that many for what he was able to elude. So that defensive front crushed him. Kansas City didn't really try to run the ball all that much in the first half. And then they got behind. First drive of the second half, they showed some life. That was when Clyde broke off the 27-yard run. But for the most part, there was no running game to be had for Kansas City early, and then they got behind so much that they didn't really have much choice.
When you get in that situation,
you're
it's
down.
miserable because you can pin your ears back, and an already struggling offensive line, they're going to struggle even more. And so they got taken out of their game plan so quick, they couldn't run the ball. I mean, Clyde ran 9 for 64. He had the 126-yard run, but they couldn't get to Clyde because of the game and the way it was dictated.
On the other hand, the Tampa Bay running game was percolating pretty good. Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones combined for 150 yards, over 5 yards a carry. They were able to give Tampa that balance, 33-29. And even when the game was in doubt, I mean, I know you can say, well, garbage time in the fourth quarter, but even in the early part of the game, they had very good balance. Mike Evans, terrific receiver, okay? Not a factor, really, yes. I mean, he caught one ball, but not really a factor yesterday. It was Fournette/Jones, and then their ability to get the ball to Gronkowski, to Antonio Brown, to Fournette out of the backfield. That was one of the ones I got right. And they controlled the game. Now, once you get past all of those things, all right, Tom Brady, we've already talked about. The Tampa front and what they were able to do. The back end of the Tampa defense and how they made sure that Tyreek Hill was not going to be the guy to beat them. The disparity in the 2 rushing attacks. There can be no doubt that Tampa Bay dominated this game. So what do you talk about in the post game if you're a Chiefs fan is the referee screwed us. And listen, I went back. I heard that. I watched the game, obviously, live. Mm-hmm. I'm sort of following Twitter, but sort of not.
Yeah.
And I'm getting enough of, man, they're getting hosed. We watching the same game? Because the holding penalty on the punt, which cost them about 35 yards in field position, was Greco-Roman wrestling at its best. I mean, the guy takes Kevin Minner down with what was a perfect wrestling move.
Yeah.
Okay, that one's not. Okay, Frank Clark throws a punch. Well, if any referee sees that, that's getting called for any player. That's getting called. You line up off sides on a field goal, that's gonna get called. I mean, look, The referees are right down the line of scrimmage. Of course, CBS's cameras weren't.
Right.
So I don't know whether he lined up offsides or not, but there's somebody whose job is just – and there wasn't a lot of complaining from the sideline like, no, I didn't. So you line up offsides, you throw a punch, you take a guy down, and then the last one would be the pass interference penalty, which the guy Breland's beat. Mm-hmm. He goes to the ground. He takes the receiver with him. You're getting flagged. I don't care how far the ball lands, past where the receiver goes down. Well, that's an uncatchable ball. Well, if you'd have let him run, who knows? You're not getting that call. The one call I think that Kansas City had a beef on. Okay, well, the one I thought they had a legitimate beef on that I thought was really consequential was the Matthew interception.
Yes.
Listen, I've seen that called as many times as I've not seen that called. Was it the worst call I've ever seen in my life? But if they would have let that go, it was a defensive
both parties.
There's hand fighting there. Yeah. Honestly, I would say it's probably 60-40 in beauty's in the eye of the beholder. If they call it, I'm fine. If they don't, I'm fine with that too. If it would have been me, I'd have probably let it go, but I didn't think it was the worst call.
Off the ball.
Yeah, off the ball. That's the one I think. And it was a turnover. It was a huge play. I don't think the officials cost the Kansas City Chiefs this ball game.
No.
But that was the one call I thought they had a beef on. The other four,
I had a problem with that one because it was a lot of hand fighting. Mike Evans did fully extend his arm, and so let that one go. It's off the ball, had nothing to do with the play. Brady had already thrown the pass before that really even taken place. So, okay, that one. And then Tyron, and this isn't because of me playing for LSU and being friends with Tyron. Tyron and Brady, when they got the back and forth, and Tyron was the only one that got the 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that. And did Tyron talk? Absolutely. Offsetting is what that should have been. Yeah. Okay, because obviously Brady says something to him. Tyron doesn't like it. Tyron goes and gets in his face. Okay, he walks away. Brady does a full sprint, circles Tyron, headbutts him, and gets in his face to talk trash, which, look, I'm a meathead. I'm okay with all of that, but it's got to be offsetting. The fact that they throw that on Tyron, they don't throw it on Brady, that was a bad look because of all the conspiracy theories out there.
Fair enough. And then the other taunting penalty, which was on Winfield, if you want to go the other way, the
history of it.
Tyreek Hill, had made the All-Pro team the last time he went down into that stadium, torching Tampa Bay, and this time Tampa got the best of him. Mm-hmm. So he was flashing the signs back in the regular season game.
Tyreek Hill did the same signal and a backflip into the end zone.
Right, which they didn't flag him for. Right. So Winfield was going back to get a little justice there, and he got called for it. If you're the referee in that situation, and by that time the game was over, you're the referee in that situation, you can't use something that happened in a game in the regular season as justification. But I understand if I would have been Winfield, I might have done the same thing. You busted me back in the regular season, but guess what? Today we're playing for a ring. You want to do backflips? Go do your backflips now. I get it. And the Matthew Brady thing, of course.
I'd love to hear if either one of those guys was mic'd up. I'd love to hear that conversation.
A lot of guys are mic'd up in the Super Bowl. Because when the official game film comes out.
And it started before that. Like, it happened before that. They said something to each other.
Look chippy for teams that don't see each other very much.
Yes, and then when Antonio Brown was a great route, beat Tyron for the touchdown, Brady was going to let him know it. And Tyron said this. He said, I've never seen that side of Tom Brady. And Brady kind of went after him. Tyron goes after him. I'd love to get the audio of that.
It's probably available somewhere.
Oh, it'll come out.
We are brought to you by Canatella Grocery on Government Street in Mid-City. It's Muffalata Monday, which means you get a muffalata and a cup of pasta salad for just $5. Go by and see Miss Pam and her great staff over at Canatella Grocery. I got to be honest with you, has every Monday for the last 2 or 3 Mondays that I've been back.
Yeah.
I leave here, I go there. Not only do I get my muffalata, but I do pick something out of the freezer usually that we will, we'll heat up for dinner that night, because a lasagna, it's homemade meatballs with homemade pasta, it's eggplant parmesan, the eggplant parmesan with shrimp in it. I'm working my way down the freezer, okay? There's so many different things that they've got there, and it's all homemade, a lot of unique recipes there. But if you just want the muffalata, hey, listen, they can help you there too. Canatella Grocery, 3869 Government Street. Lots of parking. The Hester
Right.
12-passenger bus is available. you can get that joker
Which doesn't
in there.
happen on Government Street.
No,
to be
man,
able to
government-
get that kind of parking, so it is convenient, and you can dine in. Like you can get your $5 muffalata right there. You can eat it on the spot, or of course you can take it with you. It holds up extremely well. Hanny mentioned the meals. That's a heck of an idea. I think I need to get some brownie points and do the same when I leave here.
You know what else they got over there? That you can find it, but it's not the easiest thing to find. Old Coke.
Oh, I thought you were about to say your
No,
secret. Okay.
no. Old Coke.
Yeah.
Like the old Coke, or what some people call Mexican Coke because they put the more sugar in it. Yeah, you want an old Coke?
They got it.
They got a cooler full of
They sure
old
do.
Coke. They got a lot of really cool stuff. Canatella Grocery on Government Street. Hanging with Hester and Hanny. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Tiger Air helping you save money this winter. As we get into asking our units to perform a little bit past the call of duty sometimes, man, when you open that power bill up, that energy bill up at the end of the month, and you just kind of taken aback. Let me help you out here a little bit with our friends over at Tiger Air, because when they put the American standard into my home, I know that not only in the extreme winter months, but in the extreme summer months, man, did I see a decrease in my energy prices. So you should do the same thing. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's going to save you some money. He mentioned already lower utility bills, but if you're part of the Comfort Assurance Protection Plan, we tell you you're going to save money on everything. Emergency service, priority service. Yes, those lower utility bills, increase equipment life. So it's going to save you a ton of money there in the long run. You can find more information about it at tiger-air.com. You can call for a free quote and ask about the Comfort Assurance Protection Plan by calling 225-754-8687.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Corolla for $235 per month. That's right, $235 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We're recapping Super Bowl 55. Join us Monday, AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Benny's Car Wash is giving you a chance to win free car payments for a year. Visit the contest page at 1045ESPN.com to enter today. You'll have a chance to also win a 6-month unlimited Wash Club membership from Benny's and more. You got until midnight tonight for your chance to register for free car payments from Benny's Car Wash and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We're brought to you by Canatella Grocery, where on Government Street it is $5 Muffalata Monday. Every Monday, go by, get a delicious muffalata and a cup of pasta salad for only $5. We had a question I had to buy you for a chat about how we did on our prop bets. You and I were actually talking about that before the show. If you had a Leonard Fournette prop bet, you went over. He hit everything except first touchdown. So that was part of what I liked. I had him. I liked him over in the receiving actually better than the rushing. He ended up going over in both, and of course a combination of both. You had him over catches, that went over. You had him over carries, that went over. So anything you did with Leonard Fournette over, you hit. I had Cameron Brate with over 3 catches for the Buccaneers. My reasoning was solid. They had been going to tight ends. They found another guy that they threw more to, but I still managed to push with Brate. I thought that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was going to go under. Just didn't think that there was going to be a lot of opportunities for him. Good drive to open the second half for him is what pushed him over the total. So lost that one. And the one I whiffed on the worst was I had over the points in the fourth quarter. I said, Mahomes, Brady, fourth quarter, likely the only Super Bowl they'll ever play in against each other. The greatest and the up-and-coming greatest. I mean, it's going to be a fourth quarter of fireworks. No points. Couldn't miss that one anywhere. The game was over by the time the fourth quarter started. So I missed that one pretty bad, but did okay with playoff Lenny yesterday.
Yes, I had one with him as well. It was him to score, Gronk to score, and Antonio Brown to score. If I wasn't such a chicken, I wish I'd have put more money on that one. I had the national anthem. I had the over there, so it went over. I got that one early at a pretty good spot. And then I had Scotty Miller under 1.5 catches. He didn't have a catch in the game. He did have a rush, but not a catch. And playoff Lenny, I hit on all the ones I had with him. And I had Clyde Edwards over 21 receiving yards, and he had 23.
Our friend Playboy Morty, I know you had to duck out a little bit early on Friday, but when Playboy Morty came on, he had put a ticket on Devin White to win the MVP, and had gotten a really, really nice price because he put it down before the NFC Championship game. So he was I'll be honest with you, I watched none of the pregame, and I watched only enough of the postgame to confirm what I suspected, which was that Brady would win the MVP, and after that, I was done and went to bed. But I did hold out some hope for Playboy Morty who cashed his Devin White ticket. You could have listen. It wasn't one where there was one guy that absolutely stood out statistics wise, because Brady's statistical numbers were good, but it wasn't like it was one of those 450-yard Kurt Warner type things. So I was like, well, maybe. I mean, White had 12 tackles, couple for loss. He knocked down a ball, and the pick was late. The game had been decided by that point. But no, didn't quite get there. But Fournette had a terrific game, and Devin White had a terrific game.
I mean, Devin, and we know this. We saw it at LSU. Made the transition from running back to full-time linebacker when he first got here. He picks that up, no problem. Plays a little bit as a freshman. Is a star the next couple of years. top 5 NFL draft choice, and he is so impressive. And he is a great young man. He is country as all get out, which I love. Of course, a lot of people know about his love for horses, and he grew up not too far from where I'm from, so I've known him for a long time. He's always been a great young man. He's worked my football camp, great with my son, so I was so happy for him. But he is a beast. I mean, he is on another level when it comes to sideline to sideline, to be that big, that physical, and still have the ability to do that. I mean, every time a Chiefs player broke free and it looked like they were going to get a big gainer, here he comes. I mean, 45's coming, and he's coming quickly.
Devin White on winning the Super Bowl.
I feel good. I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful. Man, this is my first time ever since I was in Little League playing in the Super Bowl. And it just took a long time to playing in the championship period. You know, I don't count the NFC championship because that's not the ultimate goal. But it's my first time since Little League playing in the championship. And I worked so hard. That's all I ever dreamed of. I always got a lot of individual awards, but that's not what I play for. I play to be the best in the world, for my team to be the best in the world. And I was just so thankful to be able to take the stage tonight. And, you know, God was on our side, man. We put in a lot of work. I'm just so thankful.
So a lot of these guys we've seen grow up in the Superdome and the state championship games. Where Devin went, North Webster, they never got to that point. They were a good team, but they never got to a state championship or even a semifinal round. So this, and we know he didn't play for a championship. He missed it by 1 year at LSU. I mean, he's exactly right. This is the first time he's played for a championship since Pee Wee ball in Spring Hill, Louisiana. And you love to see guys like that get rewarded and, you know, to have that kind of success when you've never had it. Then you have it on the biggest stage. He said all the right things there, not surprised.
And Leonard Fournette, who early in the season released by Jacksonville, that relationship had run its course. Mm-hmm. And I remember when he signed with Tampa, there was a lot of the fantasy football world went crazy. It's like, go pick that guy up.
Yeah.
But it was still Jones that kept that job for most of the regular season. Fournette only had a couple of games for Tampa where he had double-digit carries until the playoffs.
Yeah, the numbers are crazy.
And then you get into the postseason, and Fournette rushes for 93, 63, 55, and 89 yards, scores a touchdown in 3 out of the 4 games, catches 4, 6, 7, and 4 for 39, 44, 19, and 46 yards, and scores another touchdown through the air, meaning he scored a touchdown in all 4 of the postseason games for Tampa. Listen, when Jones kept the job, I'm sure it wasn't the best feeling for him when he, you know, the Jacksonville thing, Leonard was not without fault there. I mean, he did some things that got him out of line with management, and I think, look, Jacksonville's not a great franchise, so I would
dumpster fire. Yes, dumpster fire.
Coughlin had enough gravitas when he got there, okay, because of what he had done with the Giants, that I hesitate to call them a complete dumpster fire.
Any stadium that you play Monday Night Football at, and they've got to tarp the upper deck because they don't have enough people that care to be at a Monday Night Football game, is a dumpster fire.
Okay, bad franchise. I don't want to belabor that point too much. So you get out of there and you go to the gold standard with Brady, and this is a team that's got a chance to win the Super Bowl. They weren't necessarily the gold standard at the time. They're still kind of feeling their way, but you knew they had the potential for that. And Fournette's playoff run was a big part of that. Here was Leonard Fournette after the game talking about his role in the playoffs.
Yeah, when the playoffs started, you know, when Rojo, the first game when he didn't play, I told Tom, I told Coach Byron, I told Coach BA, you know, this is what I'm here for. You know, I'm ready for big moments. I've always played in big games. And like I say, it was a struggle for me at first. You know, the me being cut was still bothering me. It was still the back of my head some days when I was practicing and stuff. But God doesn't make any mistakes, and I just kept my faith.
He'd come close before, right?
Right.
I mean, with St. Aug, they had a great team.
Yep.
Came up just short his last year. At LSU, at one point going into November, looked like he was going to be the Heisman Trophy winner. Came up a little bit short. One point they were ranked number 2, I think, in the country. Season spiraled down on him. Gets to Jacksonville. They get to the AFC Championship game very early in his career. Come up a little bit short. Now, he gets to finish it off and he gets a ring. Good for him.
Look, when you look at his season total, 600 yards, 6 touchdowns. In the playoffs, 448 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, whenever he had to be the biggest, he was the biggest. And you heard it there. Look, guys down first game, I'm your guy. Like, I'm your Huckleberry. Take me. I'll be the guy that leads you to the promised land. And he was, in my opinion, their best, most consistent player on offense throughout the postseason. And I hope this parlays into something bigger for Leonard because he is a true talent. He still has a lot left in the tank. I truly believe that. He got away from Jacksonville, and I agree with you. There was things that he could have done better, but he gets away from Jacksonville. He now is part of this organization with Tom Brady. Can't wait to see what the future holds. You know, he's still got some star quality to him, in my opinion. And the way the NFL is going with dual running backs, I think he is the perfect guy to, if you've got a guy that you feel good about, but not quite like this is going to be our lone guy, go get a Leonard Fournette to pair him with, and it's a great pairing.
Did I read the stat right? He was the only 5-star player in yesterday's game to start.
I think he was.
You know, a couple of them, like Brady didn't have a rating, but he wouldn't have been a 5-star.
No.
So
Tyron, we know where he came from. Gronk was, I think, a 3-star player as well.
He had been injured.
Yeah.
They were very concerned about him. I think he was the only 5-star that started yesterday's game. So good for Fournette. LSU great Todd Walker will be with us when we come back. We'll change gears here to baseball.
Getting closer,
for just a little
Hanny.
bit. Hey, a week from Friday, baseball at the box. Hanging with Hester and Hanny is brought to you by Canatella Grocery, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage, they're committed to changing lives. So right now, the Go Local initiative, supporting local businesses that make our communities feel more at home, more like home. GMFS giving away $10,000 in Visa gift cards. You can visit participating Go Local businesses and enter the drawings. All you got to do to find out where those are, go to gmfsmortgage.com/Go Local. That's GEAUX, Go Local. You know, I was talking to a local realtor at a party on Saturday, and what she told me was that the number of not just home sales, but the number of refinances for so many people, because it just makes sense. The interest rates have gone so low that if you're at 4%, you really need to take a look, because you can get in so many cases under that. So whether you're in a refi, you're buying a new home, or you're a first-time home owner, let the qualified professionals at gmfsmortgage.com help you. Start your financial journey at gmfsmortgage.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Join us for Monday edition of Game Time, live from Ivar Sports Bar. We recap Super Bowl 55 between the Buccaneers and the Chiefs and look ahead to the rest of the week. Jimmy Yacht's Game Time, 6 p.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Brought to you today by Canatella Grocery on Government Street in Mid-City with ample parking on Muffalata Monday. Every Monday, get a Muffalata and a cup of pasta salad for only $5 and get great stuff to go as well. Get some of the lasagnas, the eggplant parmesans, the homemade pastas and meatballs, all at Canatella Grocery in Mid-City.
All right, we're only a couple of ways from LSU opening up baseball season over at the box. We welcome our guy back onto the show, LSU legend, now part of the SEC Network, Todd Walker. T-Dub, what's up, brother?
Not much, Jake. How are you?
Doing well. Glad to have you on. Appreciate your time, as always. Before we get to the baseball, look, you played a decade in the big leagues. I mean, I know that you can watch a guy like Tom Brady make it to the Super Bowl 10 times, win 7 of them, and just know how difficult that truly is to even wrap your head around.
It's hard to wrap your head around. In fact, you know how difficult it is because you played in the NFL. Baseball is a little different monster. But, Southern, what was before that? What, Montana had 4?
Yeah.
Steve Young had 4, maybe. That was the record. Terry Bradshaw?
Young had 1. Bradshaw had 4.
Yeah, Bradshaw for sure
Montana,
had 4, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Bradshaw and Montana were the record holders with 4, and he's almost doubled that. So, I mean, you can add that to the list of just incredible feats. But in the end, they just shut out a team that usually pins about 30 on you. So the defense for the Bucs were, to me, all year long. Now, of course, people know. But after the Saints run and then this one, the defense was so good for the Bucs, and I don't think people realize that.
All right, Todd, let's talk some baseball. LSU, like we mentioned, they open up February 19th over at the box. This team looks like they are extremely deep in the starting rotation and the bullpen. The question marks are going to come with the lineup. How do you view this LSU team coming into the 2021 season?
Well, I view it, Jake, kind of similar to what you saw in, 11 or 12 games last year. They're going to struggle offensively, and they're going to be really good on the mound. Now, there are some X factors. So Trey Morgan, who's supposed to be the next coming of Ozzie Smith, yet he plays first base. We don't know how he's going to hit. They may or may not try Jordan Thompson at third base, who, Maneri and those guys say has one of the best arms in the history of the school. We don't know how that guy's going to hit. They've got the couple of Cranford and Arnold at shortstop, who really only has 1 year under their belt. One may move to third if both of them hit. But in the end, I think they're going to pitch. So I think what you're going to see is some offensive guys playing defense. They're willing to give up some errors and some misplays in order to get the offense going. If you remember last year, they actually had Milazzo hitting cleanup for some of the year, and as good as Milazzo is, he's not a cleanup hitter. So they got to find one of those guys in Beloso or Trey Morgan or somebody like that.
Todd Walker is our guest. Todd, I'm wondering what you believe the effect will be on hitters across the game who have not had a in-game at-bat for what will be close to a calendar year. They've been in the cage. They've had simulated games. Some of them played some summer ball last year, but most of them didn't. It's going to be almost a whole calendar year since they've dug in there in a real game. Well,
the summer ball helps, and it really, I think, made the total difference in my life when I went to the Cape Cod in the summer of 92, 93. Came back to college. I used the wood all summer, wood bat, and then went back to the metal. It made all the difference in the world. So those summer at-bats, as you mentioned, for these kids is all the difference. And I think it'll make a huge difference, especially for these kids, that have a year under your belt. And keep in mind, most of these kids get to come back that otherwise would have left, So, again, you got Matthew Beck, who seems like he's been there since I was there 20 years ago, that are back, 21, 22 years old, still pitching in college. So I think you're going to see a better product overall. I think the offense will be fine, but I think, when we're used to seeing some really, really big mashers for LSU, I don't know if you'll see that especially early. But, again, there's a lot of young kids on the field that we just don't know how they're going to do.
I mean, you're exactly right, Todd. All these guys coming back that you just didn't expect to come back, Matthew Beck being one of them. I mean, I think a guy like Devin Fontenot. Devin Fontenot is a guy that would have been drafted. You don't have that guy back, and he's going to be a key piece to your bullpen. It's a guy that can close multi-inning type situations, and all of these teams in the SEC are going to be maybe their most talented rosters ever just because of all the volume that they're getting back.
Absolutely. Well, look, the preseason rankings got 6 SEC schools in the top 10. I mean, it's incredible. Florida's number 1, Vanderbilt at 3, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and LSU in the top 10. I mean, it's unbelievable that out of 10 teams in the country, you got 6 of them from one conference. Now, it's not something that anybody's overly surprised about, but it shows you how tough the conference is going to be, and it's led by LSU and Jaden Hill on the mound, who only has 1 win. He's the most decorated pitcher with only 1 win in the history of sports, I think. But he's really dynamic, 96, 97 with a great shut slider and change. Landon Marcel and A.J. Labus on the weekends, up top for those guys. So LSU is going to be really good. I'm not at all worried about the pitching. They're just going to have to generate some runs somehow.
Todd Walker is our guest, former LSU great, and now with the SEC Network. Todd, I'm wondering about lineup here, and I know you were thrust in early in your career into the middle of the lineup, so when you hear Paul Mainieri say things like, hey, Trey Morgan and Dylan Cruz are going to be in what he calls significant spots in the order, so I'm thinking 2-3 or 3-4 or something along those lines, for young players to have that type of pressure.
Well, I can only speak for myself. I mean, I came out of high school and walked in there, and opening night I had 3 hits, and it kind of ran from there, and I had a lot of confidence early. I think you think about Trey Morgan, for example, who's going to have confidence defensively. It works both ways. So I think and I don't know much about him offensively, but if the guy can pick it like they're saying he is, then it's going to carry over offense. And then, of course, they're saying he's going to hit 3-hole, something like that. And you got Beloso hitting 4 or 5. I think you'll see DiGiacomo at the top of the lineup if he doesn't swing and miss a lot. And Dylan Cruz, who's supposed to be a Cabrera type of hitter, which is saying a lot for them. And of course, you're not even mentioning guys like Doty and Dugas, who can swing the bat as well. They just don't have a lot of at bats and a lot of success. But I think they can really get it done too. So I think, without knowing and having anything written down on paper, you're going to see a way better offensive team as the season goes on. Early they may struggle, but they've got some talent. They just have to get the at-bats up. I mean, if you heard Mainieri talk the other day on the press conference, he said, you got to throw them out there and let them go. And that's hard to do in a 50-game season when, you got to sit and watch some guy go 0 for 10, 0 for 12, yet he can hit. Bianco is another one that can swing the bat. So it's a tough one because you got to trust somebody and let them go out. And we'll see who he trusts on opening day here in a few weeks. But he's got to let them go. And I think if he does, for young kids, that makes all the difference because gradually you get comfortable and then you're off and running at the end of the season.
Todd, you mentioned Dylan Cruz there. He comes in with just massive expectations. D1 baseball stays the best prospect in college baseball coming in. And, at LSU, this very well. Going to be high expectation levels just because, but already, him coming into the fanfare that he has, what's the one thing you would tell him about all those expectations and how to handle them?
Well, for me, it was always keeping things really simple. And I thought about this earlier. With hitters, you got different goals in your own mind. Like, I'm going to hit a lot of home runs, or I'm going to do this or that. For me, it was don't strike out. Like, that was my sole thought process going in as a freshman at LSU, is I'm going to put the ball in play every single at bat. And if I can do that, the average will I know I will hit for an average. And if I pop a few out of the park, then that's great. But I'm just worried about putting the ball in play, because it doesn't work for me personally the other way around, where I'm trying to hit home runs and do a lot and swing big and then strike out a lot. I'll end up hitting $150, which I did when I first got to the big leagues. I tried that because I was just trying to get on ESPN, try to hit a big homer and go watch myself. And that didn't work out well. So my advice, to answer your question, would be put the ball in play every time. And how do you do that? Well, you got to develop a two-strike approach. You can't be afraid to hit with two strikes, because what that also does is it makes you patient. So you don't go up there hacking at the first ball every time and taking what the pitcher gives you. You get to work your way into a count and get what you want. And for me, that was the deal, is I just wasn't going to strike out. I developed a two-strike approach, and it worked out pretty good.
Is that what DiGiacomo is going through right now? I know he's more of a top-of-the-order guy, and you were a middle-of-the-order guy, but his freshman year, he struck out exactly 1/3 of the time. And last year, even though his batting average was raised to tops on the team, he still struck out 1/3 of the time, and that's just way too much for a leadoff hitter. How does he work on that two-strike approach?
Well, it's funny you say that as a leadoff hitter, because as we all know, baseball's evolved. Now they're allowing some strikeouts for the leadoff guy to hit 20 home runs and drive in 100, because that's where we've gone. We don't have the Vince Colemans of the world anymore that just get on base and steal second and third. So they're allowing some guys, and Giacomo has some pop. So I think they're okay with him swinging and miss a little bit. Just to give you an idea, not at bat, but plate appearances, you need to strike out about 10% of the time. If you can do that, so 100 plate appearances, you strike out 10 times, you put the ball in play 90, then that's good. And I think it's almost funny to hear them talk about the consistency of Giacomo, because he led the team, albeit 12 games last year, 350 average or where he was. So he still did well, and, of course, that's why they call it an average. So it's funny when they hit him with this consistency thing, because I think he can hit. But you're right, he needs to develop the two-strike approach, and I think that's what I love about Eddie Smith. He's in his, second or third year now. He's a new coach. So what you get with new coaches is motivation. So Eddie Smith's there when the sun comes up, and he leaves, probably never leaves, probably got a bed in there somewhere. But I love that about Eddie Smith more than anything else, and he does know what he's doing. But more than that is he's got the motivation to work with these kids. And for me, if you were asking me offensively, the main thing would be just to stay patient. You see these guys swinging at the first pitch a lot, and there's a time to do that, especially later in the games when you got this guy dialed in. But I think what you've seen over the past is them being a little too aggressive, and I would like to see them a little more patient. And the way to do that, of course, again, is just to be comfortable with two strikes.
Todd, we appreciate it. Looking forward to the start of the season. Thanks for spending a few minutes today with us.
Absolutely. Jake, see you soon, man.
See you, T-Dup.
We're brought to you by Canatella Grocery on Government Street. $5 Muffalata Monday, every Monday, with ample parking in Mid-City. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, We've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Coming up on Tuesdays Off the Bench, we enter the long, cold dark of the offseason. But Coach O warms us up in his regular Tuesday spot. Matt Flynn stops by as well, and a brand new OTB mailbag. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Bill Benner, the Sporting News, with us at the bottom of the next hour. Got some college football stuff that I want to run through with him, along with Jacob Hester. I'm Charles Hanagriff. Did you watch the commercials?
Of course I did.
See, I'm not. I used to be, oh man, I want to see all the commercials. Now it's just whatever happens to be on. So, any that you liked? Or two that I liked.
Okay.
I liked the Tracy Morgan almost commercials. You know, those were pretty cool. And I liked the one with Jason Alexander on the sweatshirt because I like Seinfeld so much. So I thought that those two were and I think Tracy Morgan did multiple ones yesterday for that was it Rocket Mortgage or whoever, but those were the ones I liked. I don't know if you had.
It wasn't the best year. I will say that. It wasn't the best year for Super Bowl commercials, and I know that COVID probably restricted maybe some of that and what they
saw
could
a lot
do.
of CGI yesterday. Probably a little bit tough, and some really bad CGI in a couple of them. But the filming process probably not the easiest thing to get together.
You know, I like
year.
the thought behind the Bruce Springsteen, Meet in the Middle Jeep commercial. I like the thought behind that.
I didn't see that one. I heard it was fairly controversial. I didn't get a chance to see it.
Paramount Plus commercial was weird. The one with Patrick Stewart on top of the mountain, Paramount Mountain, and they had all the streaming people meet him at the top of the mountain. Then there's this like 3-second SpongeBob solo, and then it was kind of weird. And
That's
then
the
the
one
girl
where-
from The Ring was dancing. Beavis and Butthead, which I love, were there.
It was like the guy from Survivor, or is it
Yeah.
Jeff Probst, and then they had the girl from Jersey Shore, and she was freezing. Is that the
She
one you're
was
talking
there.
about? Okay,
yeah.
I saw that.
That
one.
was a little weird. That one was a little different.
See, this seems like a category for Paul O'Neill. Paul O'Neill had a legal pad yesterday grading Super Bowl commercials. Paul, am I right? Were you grading Super Bowl commercials yesterday?
Yeah,
There was a few I liked, but overall I was a little disappointed. I liked the Michael B. Jordan as Alexa.
Yeah. Okay. That was
one made me
funny.
laugh. And
That
then
was
I
funny.
like the Cheetos with Ashton Kutcher.
Okay,
and
now
Shaggy.
that was the
Yeah,
Shaggy. That's what I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't
okay.
me.
Right,
He's
right.
still playing.
And she's got the orange fingers. Okay, so so that was fun.
was a good
Have
one.
we built them up too much? To where it's like, okay, we're gonna put off going to the kitchen or the bathroom because we want to see what the commercial is. I mean,
I think it's just part of the process. I think everybody now that's what they do. They know, like, during the Super Bowl, like, you don't have to be completely quiet, but you keep the TV up. Normally I hate. I just like if it's a stressful game and there's a commercial on, I'm like, I don't want to hear anything.
I watched the ones that were convenient where I was sitting down anyway. I didn't watch any of the pregame, very very little of the post game, and I didn't watch halftime. I'm there for the football, but I realize I'm one of the football meatheads, to use your word, on Super Bowl Sunday, and the Super Bowl is for not just football fans, but it's for fans, the casual fans. I'm there for the football on that day, but I understand why all of the other things that are with the Super Bowl are things that others will tune in for. We're brought to you by Canatella Grocery on Government Street at Mid-City. $5 Muffalata Monday. All day, every Monday, $5 will get you a muffalata and a cup of pasta salad. Talk about the Hall of Fame. Alan Fanica, former LSU Tiger, is in. That's what we'll start with next. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Corolla for $235 per month. That's right, $235 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I'm feeling good. So good. I just thought you should know.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Callahan Injury Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 2, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. If you're watching along with us on CST or on YouTube, welcome. And if you are with us up in Shreveport on 1130 The Tiger, thank you for being with us along with Jacob Hester. I'm Charles Hanagriff. The Hall of Fame came with their voting this weekend, and a new 5-person class voted in. First of all, the seniors nominee, Drew Pearson, got in, the longtime Cowboy receiver. Pittsburgh scout Bill Nunn, who was a part of multiple parts of the Steeler dynasty. He's been there forever. He was a contributor. He got in. Tom Flores from the coaches nominees got in, and we can talk about him a little bit. The 2 Super Bowl wins for him, largely what got him in. But there is, I think the idea is, well, if you win 2 Super Bowls, you're automatically in, and there's a list of guys that aren't. Okay, George Seifert being one, Mike Shanahan being another one, Tom Coughlin being another one. So the kind of the question I was kicking around was, does this automatically mean that all the coaches with 2 Super Bowl wins will get in? Because it took Jimmy Johnson a while to get in. I mean, he wasn't a first ballot slam dunk, put him in there. And maybe he should have been, but he wasn't. Is Flores going into the Hall of Fame? Because somebody asked us on Thursday or Friday, is Sean Payton a Hall of Famer right now if he retires? And my answer was no, because you look at some of the other guys and what they've accomplished. Mike Holmgren is another name on that list. I would say the same thing about Mike Tomlin. Once you get past Belichick, who's going in, who are the next 2 coaches in the NFL right now that have the best record over the last 12 to 14 years, have Super Bowl? It's Tomlin and Payton. And right now, I don't. If either one of them retired today, I don't know that either one of them would get in the Hall. In fact, I think they wouldn't. But now that Flores is going in, if Seifert follows him, if Shanahan follows him, if Coughlin follows him, then you're going to see, hey, 2 Super Bowls is sort of that benchmark.
You know what they need to do is get Coors Light behind them, like Flores.
Help for Flores.
Then maybe they can get to the Hall of Fame. That's the power of the silver bullet.
It did. All right, so Peyton Manning got in, Charles Woodson got in, and Calvin Johnson got in.
Yep.
Those were no surprises.
Nope.
There was some thought that maybe Calvin Johnson wouldn't go in on the first ballot. I was pretty sure that he was. We felt real good about those 3.
He was a game changer, and I realized we get those stats up there. He didn't play as long as some of these guys. He played in an awful place in Detroit. I mean, they have not been a notorious franchise for winning football games, and he dominated. He terrified defensive coordinators more than any receiver, like when he was playing, even on a bad football team.
Here was one of the most bizarre stats of the weekend. You know, they started playing around with Tom Brady's age, right? He's 43 years old. So where was Calvin Johnson the year that Tom Brady got drafted? Now, Calvin Johnson is 35 years old, okay? He's been retired for the obligatory 5 years. The year that Tom Brady got drafted, Calvin Johnson was in 8th grade. Brady won the Super Bowl yesterday. Johnson went in the Hall of Fame Saturday. He's in the 8th grade watching Tom Brady on TV. I'm going to go in the Hall of Fame before that guy retires.
Yep.
The 8th grade teacher would have probably laughed at him.
No question about it.
I would think. Once you got past those three, though, it got a little bit tougher. John Lynch had a lot of support. And it's not just because it would be a very cynical thing to say, well, Lynch got in with Tampa Bay and all that. They actually did a thing, Pro Football Focus, right? Did a deal on Lynch. His last year in the league was the first year that they graded every play, Pro Football. And not everybody subscribes to Pro Football Focus. Some people think the ratings are a little bit skewed, but it's a benchmark that we can put up, especially for players that don't have as many counting statistics as we like. So if you take the final year of Lynch's career, the final year in 2006, and put that grade into this year's class of safeties, this year's NFL, he would have been the 3rd-rated safety in pro football, just barely behind Budda Baker and behind only Minkah Fitzpatrick besides that, ahead of Jamal Adams, ahead of Tyrann Mathieu. Now, again, this is Pro Football Focus's grades. Whatever you put into that. Lynch was one of the 3 best players on, one of the great defenses that we've seen. I didn't think he was the best player. I thought Brooks was the best player on that team, but he was right there, okay? It was Sapp on the front, it was Brooks with the linebackers, and it was Lynch in the secondary. I think he deserved
I've got
to
no
get in.
problem with him being in. I mean, he changed the way that position was played. Like, he changed in the fact that he wasn't just a deep safety. I mean, he would stop the run. He would come off the edge. He would do all the things that you had to do to be a great safety, and that's the guy that I kind of point to. Now, I know there's others before him that could do it, but as far as defenses calling his number, he was the best at it. I told the story before. It's Lynch blitz for a reason. Free safety will.
It may very well on the last one, they don't release all of the results of the voting, but it may very well have come to Tony Boselli and Alan Fanica for that spot. We didn't think that they were both going in on the same class. The same way when Steve Hutchinson was up, the same way when Kevin Mawai was up. It's like this log jam of linemen who all deserve to get in. Which order are you going in? Well, Mawai got in, Hutchinson got in, and this year Fanica got in. And I will be very surprised next year if Tony Boselli does not get in. Next year,
I felt like
after.
Fanica, take the LSU part out of it. Take the that we know him personally out of it, right? That's not why we felt like we did on Friday. He did it for longer, and he did it at an elite level. Like, there's only so many levels you can get to an All-Pro, and they both were All-Pros, but he did it for longer. He was in the trenches. He was playing that very difficult position, and he did it for a longer time. So when you start talking about which deserved to get in first, I felt like Alan Fanica, because of the way he did it, the longevity of his career on really the same level that it was Alan Fanica. And I remember when I got into the NFL, there wasn't like many guys that I was like, oh my God, look who that is. I mean, there's a couple for sure. I mean, Zach Thomas was one of them, like my first NFL
Who was
block.
also on this ballot.
Yeah. But for me, like, of the LSU guys that starstruck me, it was Fanica and Mawai. Because I watched them growing up, and they were still playing. And they were still playing at a high level at that point. I remember watching them. I was like, this is like pre-Independence Bowl days, basically. I mean, it's kind of in the thick of that, right? And I'm like, man, that guy's still playing at that level. And he came up to me after the game like, you know who I am? Like, what? Alan Fanica?
You watched the Florida game, I'm sure.
So, like, I was starstruck. He was a legend, is a legend. He deserves every bit of this.
So of the guys that didn't make it, I think Boselli is probably the next guy that's going in. But you've still got some of these finalists.
Those receivers, too.
I don't know that – I didn't hear a whole lot on behalf of Holt and Wayne, who are almost kind of linked at the hip. Their stats are very, very similar. I don't know that I saw a whole lot of support for one versus the other.
Do you think it's because they were part of a tandem? Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, when you look at Bruce and Holt, do you think that's part of it?
possibly.
Yeah.
I think you got a logjam of receivers. You're going to have it's getting harder to go by the counting stats for receivers because you're looking at guys with video game numbers compared to the Hall of Famers of the past.
Right.
These guys have put up numbers that dwarf most of the receivers in the Hall of Fame because the game is so different. And I think it's going to be harder. Like it took Tim Brown a long time to get in the Hall of Fame. It took Art Monk a long time to get into the Hall of Fame. And I think you're probably going to see something similar, just at a different level for these receivers. I think the counting stats are harder to quantify there because there's just so many. You know, when Largent and Monk were playing, they were the two best receivers. This is pre-Jerry Rice. They were the two most prolific statistical receivers that the league had produced. And now if you go look at the all-time numbers, they're down. I think Steve Largent is the 40th, leading receiver in NFL. We talked about Ray Guy. Ray Guy's maybe the 65th best punter in the history of the NFL, but he changed the game back then.
What doesn't help those receivers either, next year, eligible candidates, Steve Smith is going to be on that list. You've got Andre Johnson's going to be added to that list. Anquan Bolden's going to be added to that list. So there's even more receivers coming. So it's going to be a log jam for a lot of players. It's going to be difficult for those guys really to get in. And I'm talking any of them because of the log jam.
Well, and all of their numbers are really, really similar. I mean, when you look at it, well, I'll give you an example. Torrey Holt has 13,382 yards receiving, and Reggie Wayne has 14,345. They're about 1,000 yards away from each other, and you're going down this list, and Steve Smith is exactly 235 yards ahead of Reggie Wayne. So where's how do you distinguish between those? Now Reggie Wayne's got a title, Torrey Holt's got a title, Steve Smith doesn't have a title. Maybe that weighs into it. I couldn't tell you what gets into Anquan Bolden. All right.
Yeah.
How many more yards? Andre Johnson 14,185. Let me just do them all. Steve Smith, 14,731. Andre Johnson, 14,185. Anquan Bolden, 13,779. Torrey Holt, 13,382. And who was the last one? All right, that's it. They're all within 1,000 yards, 1,200 yards of each other. They all had long careers. They were all producers throughout their careers. How do you pick? The one guy I was surprised didn't get a little bit more run, and again, we don't get to see the votes, was Jared Allen. That was one you were kind of bullish on when we first started talking about this.
Yeah, he was dominant pass rusher in the league, led the league in sacks multiple times, did it for two organizations, and I just felt like he would get a lot of steam. I didn't know if he'd get in, but I felt like he would get more momentum than he did. I mean, this feels like the buzz that you hear on guys, you can kind of gauge when you think they'll get in. I mean, you might be talking about maybe 4 classes down the line. Now, there's not a lot of edge guys coming up per se. Next year, the best edge guy is going to be DeMarcus Ware. So you start having the conversation, DeMarcus Ware, Jared Allen. So he's going to have some competition, but it felt like a guy's probably not going to get in for a couple more.
I got from the things that I read multiple people on this. Boselli, I think, is probably the most likely of not the first year guys next year to get in. Sam Mills probably might be number 2. Could be number 2. I sense that there is a little bit of momentum building for Sam, and I'm happy to see it because the guy was such a pleasure to watch play football, and it's a shame that when the award comes, and I'm convinced that it'll have to be posthumously for Sam Mills, but I sense that there was a little bit more support in the room for Mills this time than there has been before.
I hope so, and I'll be honest. We always say take this out of it. I hope so, just personally. And there's a lot of people listening to this show that feel the same way. We saw him play week in and week out. The heart that he played with, the determination. He was undersized. He didn't care about that. He played the game the right way. Off the field, he was fantastic, and he did it for the Saints for a long time. He helped start the Carolina Panthers, and they had success as soon as he got there. He did it the right way, and so I just hope that he gets that call one day and his family is able to celebrate that.
And see, I loved the way Zach Thomas played. Just
yeah.
thought the world of him as a player. But if I had to pick between the two, I'd take Sam Mills. And maybe I'm the wrong person to ask.
Very similar.
Very similar.
Very similar.
Thomas might have been an inch taller?
Maybe.
Look, stand up real straight.
Look, low man wins at my position, so I always felt like I had an advantage. Going against him, I didn't have an advantage.
I'm probably the wrong person to ask about that because I was a big Sam Mills fan.
Yeah, I think all
the time. We are brought to you by Richard Tonda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Well, you know those things come up in life at unexpected times, and you're feeling a little bit under the weather, or maybe one of your four boys has done something. Maybe they're running a fever. Maybe they got strep. Maybe they just got into a little bit of a bind. Broke something, sprained something, turned something. Go to our friends over at Patient Plus with 6 locations in Baton Rouge and the surrounding area into Prairieville. How many times have you pulled the Hester 10 passenger, 12 passenger up to Patient Plus?
Look, they're very convenient. Hanny mentioned 6 locations. South Downs is the location that is convenient for us, but they have 6 for a reason. It's convenient to you in the listening area. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. We give you that because you can also check in online. That is something that is another service available for you. We say it all the time. They handle multiple things. That's why they're able to say, bring us your snotty sniffles, breaks, and aches, because they can handle more than your other urgent cares. Again, PatientPlusUC.com. Get in and get better.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We're recapping Super Bowl 55. Join us Monday, AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Today's show brought to you in part by Supreme Rice, supremerice.com. If you enjoyed the Super Bowl with a dish that included Supreme Rice, congratulations, because I'm sure you were the hit of the party. If you had a party, a lot of people, it was a smaller, more subdued thing this year. Certainly for us, it was. But you're always enjoying Supreme Rice when it's gumbo or etouffee, just regular old rice and gravy, or maybe a crawfish stew. You can get Supreme Rice at any of your Walmarts, any of your Costco's, all of your AG food dealers. And whether it's in the brown, the long grain, or the jasmine, you can get it in the 5-pound bags. Support our Louisiana farmers down in Crowley, Louisiana, since the 1930s. Make it Supreme Rice for your next meal. For great recipes and more information, go to supremerice.com. So we had a question out of the Bayou Ford chat. I got a feeling my opinion is not going to be terribly popular here, because you know why? I don't like my opinion on this. But here was a question. Hess. I'm going to throw it at you first. And the question was, is Andrew Whitworth going to make the Hall of Fame? And if I tell you that on this radio program in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, that my opinion is going to be unpopular, it's because I believe that he won't. And I've got something to back up my argument. But before I say that, let me tell you something. I never saw anybody better on the offensive line at LSU. Look, Fanica was great. Mawai was great. I loved a guy in the 80s named Lance Smith, who was as good a player as you could get to. But I never saw anybody that was any better than Whitworth. I mean, it's just a handful of linemen that have come through here that get anywhere near that standard. And I think he's been a fantastic player in the NFL. But the reason I don't think he's in, they go by Pro Bowls and first-team All-Pros and championships. Fanica, who just got in on his 6th try, was a six-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, and 9-time Pro Bowler.
Yep.
Won a Super Bowl. Took him 6 times to get in. Kevin Mawai was an 8-time Pro Bowler, a 7-time first-team All-Pro, and a second-team All-Pro once. Took him 5 years to get in. 5 or 6. I mean, I may even have that number wrong a little bit. Whitworth has 2 first-team All-Pros and 4 Pro Bowls. It's short of the other 2 guys.
Yeah.
Whit was on some pretty bad teams up in Cincinnati for a while, and now he's on a Rams team that, he got to the Super Bowl, but they didn't win it. Whitworth's resume is similar to another close but just missed tackle that was on the ballot up until, I want to say, 2 years ago, and that's Joe Jacoby, the longtime Washington offensive tackle who was part of the famed Hogs. Like Whitworth, he's made 4 Pro Bowls. He was a first-team All-Pro 3 times to Whitworth's 2. Jacoby was on 3 Super Bowl winners, and he came really, really close. According to the voters, who can't release the exact numbers, Jacoby came as close as anybody in the last 25 years to getting in, but came up just short.
Right.
Now, he may get in with the Veterans Committee, probably will.
Yeah.
But you look at Jacoby's stats, and he only played 13 years. Whitworth is going into his 15th and shows no signs of retiring before next year. So he's played a little bit longer already, and may increase that. And look, the Rams are going all in for the Super Bowl next year. So what if Whit comes back next year and he wins the Super Bowl and he's an All-Pro doing it? I'm not saying that there's not still time, but if you ask me today, I would point to Joe Jacoby's resume and Andrew Whitworth's resume as being very, very similar, and Jacoby didn't get in. So I would say I don't think so.
I think the level of edge rushers is completely different now than it was then.
That's a great point. There's no doubt.
You are blocking just specimens coming up that 4'5", 4'4" guys that are 280 pounds. But I hear what you're saying, and if I'm going to agree with you, I will say the thing that probably hurts him is slow start. Not because of what he did, but because of what his team probably did. He was lost a little bit. Now, we knew.
He was a guard for a short period of time.
For the Bengals. Now, we knew who he was because we saw him dominate LSU, and I agree with you. I was teammates with him. I loved running stretch behind that guy. I knew the edge was going to be set in the offensive favor. Like, you just knew it.
I've seen some athletes come through here, okay? I mean, went to school with O'Neal, and I've seen some guys. When Whitworth walked into the interview room in one of those bodysuits, okay, and this guy's 6'7" and he's 325 pounds, and he looks like he's ready to go surfing because he's that kind of athlete. He's got that kind of power. He's got that kind of size. And he's got that kind of balance and dexterity. I mean, he just looked like everything you could ever want in an offensive lineman. He was scary.
Yeah.
And he's been excellent in the NFL for a while, but if you're asking me for my honest opinion, I can't just tell you, that guy's one of my favorites, put him in. I got to say right now, I think he'd probably come up short.
Yeah, if they're going to go off of that stuff, the All-Pros, the Pro Bowls, maybe he got a little bit of a late start because when you look at his resume, like his first All-Pro, and that was second team, came in 2014. He had already been in the league since 2006, right? And then he rolls off 15 and 17 first team All-Pro. But, I mean, his teams were really, really bad there in Cincinnati. Do I think he's one of the best bookend tackles? I really do. But is it going to be enough? I don't know. If he does get in, he'll obviously have to wait a little bit. But, man, he's finishing his career better than he started it, which is amazing.
True, and there's not many guys in NFL that garner more respect than Whitworth. I mean, you hear other players talk about him, which is the highest compliment, and they talk in very reverent tones when they talk about Whitworth. And his off-the-field stuff has been phenomenal. So that certainly doesn't hurt him. I would love to see him. Well, I can't say I'm rooting for the Rams to win the Super Bowl next year, but if they did and he capped it off with an All-Pro and they put him in, I'd be the happiest guy. I'm a huge Andrew Whitworth fan. But to answer the question right now, probably a little bit short.
Yeah, he was a great teammate. He really was. I mean, he was all about the team and worked his ass off at practice just like he did in the games. And that's part of the reason why he is what he is. But you're right. Like, not many people his size look like he does. Like, there's no sloppiness to his 310 pounds. I mean, he is put together. He's been that way since high school. Trust me. I had to see him play West Monroe. He's playing tight end. He's playing tight end, by the way, at West Monroe.
You know, the closest comp I've seen to him, the guy that looked the most like him that played in the NFL was Kyle Turley. When he played for the Saints, he was very close in stature.
About Kyle Turley.
And he actually did surf.
Yeah, San Diego State,
right.
Absolutely.
And he had very similar physical attributes to Whitworth, but whereas Turley was a good player for a short period of time, Whitworth has been in the league for a very, very long time. We'll take a break. Bill Bender from the Sporting News is with us when we return. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Oh, brought to you by Richards Honda. You can find them online at richardshonda.com. 375 new vehicles in stock over at Richards Honda. I know because it tells you right there on the homepage. It's a new feature they've added to the website. You can search for their new vehicles. You can search for their used vehicles. You can get pre-approved right there. Of course, you can schedule service all from the homepage of richardshonda.com. The buy from home option, that's something that's on the homepage. 7-step process to get your vehicle delivered straight to your doorstep. So it's really set up for success. But we always encourage you go see them as well, right? I-12 and Millerville with over 700 vehicles. When you add in those pre-owned vehicles, they're going to have something that you absolutely fall in love with. And no matter what you're looking for, no matter what your needs are, they're going to be met over at Richards Honda. They've got cars, they've got hybrids, they've got the midsize SUV game cover with the CRV, the HRV, and the Passport, the full-size Pilot, the Odyssey minivan, the Ridgeline truck, something for everybody over at Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Join us for Monday edition of Game Time, live from Ivar Sports Bar. We recap Super Bowl 55 between the Buccaneers and the Chiefs and look ahead to the rest of the week. Jimmy Yacht's Game Time, 6 p.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And we're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
All right, glad to welcome back on to the show. Bill Bender of the Sporting News joins us now. Bill, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing well, Jacob. How are you?
Doing well. Of course, we've been talking about Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what they were able to do, and just kind of your thoughts on what it's like for Tom Brady and to get to 10 Super Bowls, Bill, and to win 7 of them. I mean, where does that rank for you as far as all-time athletes?
That's what I'm getting ready to post now. It's funny you mention that. I think there's no valid argument against Tom Brady at this point. Now, I mean, if you want to do greatest team sports athletes, I think it's a short list with, you know, Michael Jordan, a Wayne Gretzky, LeBron James. Did I leave anybody out? And then the individual sports, people like Serena Williams, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, Michael Phelps. My point is, though, people want to push, for some reason, try to push Brady out of this conversation. At minimum, Jacob, he's the greatest quarterback of all time and probably best NFL player to ever play the game.
When you look at what he was able to do, and we talked about, we kind of said it was like when Peyton Manning first went to Denver and he brought some of his guys, Brandon Stokely and Dan Copen and Keith Brooking and all these older savvy vets to Denver, and it changed them really in 1 year. They went from what they were in 11 to a 13-3 team, and I was on the team. I saw the impact that Peyton had in the building, and Tom he has that. Not many people have that, Bill. I mean, he brings in his guys. He goes to get Gronk and AB and Fournette signs with them, and he gets the best out of every player that's on the roster, and I think that's what sets them apart from the other greats.
Yep, and I mean, I was stunned last night that they won the way they did.
Yeah.
I didn't think anybody had a predicted 31-9 blowout, but and the defense deserves credit, and the pieces they brought in, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Ndamukong Suh, Leonard Fournette, they all helped him get there, but those guys also all wanted to play with Tom Brady because it's kind of like the Jordan effect. Like, if you wanted a ring in the 90s, you went and played with Jordan. If you want a ring now, go sign with the Lakers. Those are the athletes that do that. And I get that we want to tear down Brady in any way we can, and people want to say that an Elway or Marino or Rodgers is more talented. But to me, championships always weigh the most. It's the defining characteristic in sports for the greatest.
Well, okay, I'm with you up to a point though, but we're not gonna take that to the extreme and say that Trent Dilfer was better than Jim Kelly, are we? Or that Brad Johnson was better than Dan Marino. I mean, I'm with you on the Brady argument, but we can't just hold championships up and say, well, these quarterbacks. Warren Moon never won a championship, and I consider him one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. So, I mean, that's a factor, Bill, but it can't be the only thing we're looking at.
I think it's the most important one. I mean, yeah, I get your point about one-time champions. It's 7 Super Bowls.
No, it's not about Brady. It's about believe me, he wins.
Point, though, is people try to point to a Warren Moon or an Aaron Rodgers or a John Elway and all those guys. Well, there's no comparison with Brady. There's just not. I mean, 7 Super Bowls, 10 appearances. Takes a 7-9 team and flips them into a Super Bowl year, and they go through Breeze, Rodgers, and Mahomes to do it. I think, by the way, that in time might be considered the greatest Super Bowl run of all time, considering who they went through. I get your point. I mean, sometimes they do but he has a stats. He's going to be the all-time leader in touchdown passes and passing yards.
Yeah, he's got everything. He wins.
I mean, the only other NFL players, if you switch positions a little bit, the next 3 players I would put in the conversation, and you guys can disagree, I'd say it'd be Jerry Rice, Lawrence Taylor, and pick whoever you think the greatest running back of all time is. I know a lot of people would say Jim Brown for a multitude of reasons, but if you want to throw Barry Sanders or Emmett in there, go ahead.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Another one.
I stopped at Jim Brown because that was where I was.
Bill, is this his most impressive Super Bowl win, though? Because of what you take him over, you get a couple of guys to sign with you because you're Tom Brady, and the defense was already kind of star-studded. They had not met their potential yet, like Devin White elevated his game to another level, and other guys did as well. But when you look at what the Patriots were, and then you look at what the Buccaneers were, is this his most impressive one?
It is in a lot of ways. I still think his most impressive season was the one they didn't win, when they lost to the Giants. They went 16-0, and they had Moss, and that team. That's the season where that for some reason sticks out to me the most. Or the second one they won when they beat the Eagles. That team was just the word unstoppable gets used a lot, and I'm looking at who they beat last night and the way they did it, because for 3 years really, the Chiefs dominated the AFC. Patrick Mahomes is. We were having conversations last week well, what if he beats Brady? Is he going to be the GOAT? He's got 6 Super Bowls to win before he gets into that conversation. And you guys know how hard it's going to be to win. And it's a lot like the Saban argument in college football, where at some point, I mean, when you pile up as many wins as they have, even the people that want to downplay what Saban did, you can't ignore it forever.
Bill, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on today, and of course we were going to talk Super Bowl, but another reason was you're seeing something that we haven't really seen before. You're seeing a lot of NFL assistants go down to the college ranks. And typically, at least in my experience, you're either an NFL coach or you're a college football coach. Like, you like it one way or you like it the other. And I can take an example from here at LSU. I mean, you look at both their offensive coordinator, their passing game coordinator, and now their defensive coordinator come from the NFL ranks, and that's just not something, Bill, that we typically see.
Well, the game's meshing, and we all know that. You're seeing college concepts get meshed, and 5 years ago, if I was on your show and you would have told me, hey, Bill, Urban Meyer's going to coach the Jags in 5 years, I would have said, not a chance, Jacob, but it happened. And I think it could go both ways. Some college guys could keep going down to the NFL as well. and NFL guys are coming up. So I think it's good for the health of both games. It's an exciting game. It's a very offensive game now. But to your point about Devin White and that defense, last night proved that at the NFL level anyway, when you have a defense playing the way they did and the Chiefs didn't have their tackles, defense can win championships still. That's kind of a good thing for some of us old school guys.
So that's what makes edge rushers so important, Bill. I mean, when you've got guys, and of course the Buccaneers, Shaq Barrett and Jason Pierre-Paul, they've got those guys, and you're going against backup tackles. There's almost nothing you can do. I mean, we gave the stat earlier in the show, 497 yards Patrick Mahomes ran for before he released the football. I mean, that is 5 football fields this man had to run around to get some of these passes off. And he only took 3 sacks. Anybody else probably takes 10. I mean, he was able to be a magic man and get some of those balls off, but he was running for his life because they could not do anything with the edge rushers.
My 6-year-old daughter kept saying, and she likes football. She's becoming a Dolphins fan. I don't know why, but she said, "Why does that guy keep running around?" And I said, "Because Tampa Bay is getting after him, And it was kind of funny. And then the other weird question I'd answer for my kids last night is they kept asking me who Clarice was, and I said, "Well,
we'll let them watch that movie."
I said, "Well, I was kind of like going, well, I'm hoping the commercial would end and then go, track off into something else." But it was a very interesting thing that they were able to fluster him that much. An interesting stat we dug up last night was that was the first time Mahomes has lost a start in the NFL by double digits, which goes to show the dominance they've had in the AFC. But look at the state of the AFC with all those franchise quarterbacks. It's not going to be easy. I mean, Brady dominated the AFC for 2 decades. That is another reason I keep telling people it's hard to really put into words what he's done.
Bill Bender from the Sporting News is our guest. Bill, now that the professional football season's in our rearview mirror, spring football, I'm wondering what your conversations with people over the landscape of college football have led to, when they're going to have it, if they're going to have it, how will it be structured, et cetera, as we move towards, for some teams have already started and other teams are trying for a traditional April, May type of spring football.
Yeah, hopefully they can. And I think we will get to that point as long as the numbers of COVID dictate that. I mean, I can say on the NFL level, I talked to the Pro Football Hall of Fame director last week, and they're preparing and hoping for a full stadium at the Hall of Fame game. And that would be a good tone setter for the entire – I think the Hall of Fame game is a tone setter for the entire year, honestly, because that'll be the first major football game we see in 2021. They're planning to have the Steelers and Cowboys in that one, and what a loaded Hall of Fame class that's going to be. So I'm not ducking your question about college football. I just think that that's part of this hoping to get spring practice in. We'll see if they have spring games. I bet those will be – not the normal spring games that we're used to, I'm guessing. And I think all of these programs would be just happy to get a spring program in, given what happened last season.
Bill Bender, thanks for your time. We will be catching up with you hopefully we'll get some of those spring practices in and be able to talk some football with you here in the springtime. Thanks a lot.
Hey, no problem, guys. Take care. Have
Thanks,
a good one.
Bill Bender from the Sporting News. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Mowing season. Well, we can see it from here. Don't fight the old mower again this season. You bring out that old clunker and, well, it won't start. You really want to go through all the trouble. Look, get to Gotro's Outdoor Power today. Check out the full lineup of Hustler mowers that they offer with deck sizes ranging from 34 to 104 inches. Both professionals and homeowners can find the perfect Hustler mower for their property and at a great price.
You can check out the website, hustlerztrs.com, because, of course, Gotro's Outdoor Power is Louisiana's #1 Hustler dealer. There on the website, you can shop the full inventory that they have available. There's 2 locations locally, but check out the website. If you're listening to us in North Louisiana, maybe you're watching us across the state on CST, because it's free delivery to your door by Gotro's Outdoor Power. You can check out the full fleet as well at gotrosoutdoorpower.com. It gives you an idea of what they have available, any specials that they might have going on over at Gotro's. We make it easy.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Coming up on Tuesdays Off the Bench, we enter the long, cold dark of the offseason. But Coach O warms us up in his regular Tuesday spot. Matt Flynn stops by as well, and a brand new OTB mailbag. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And we're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. You know, Bender just threw me for a loop, right? When he with that greatest football players thing, because Jerry Rice is right at the top of my list, and then he says, Lawrence Taylor and Jim Brown. I can't do any better than that. I mean, you can go, the next best guys. So I just start scribbling during the break because my mind, it triggers, if you will, when you get stuff like that. And I started thinking about the greatest football players you've ever seen. All right, well, those guys at those positions. We were talking about tackles a little while ago. Who's the best offensive tackle you ever saw? It's Anthony Munoz. I mean, it's just like automatic. Jonathan Ogden, number 2. Who's the best guard you ever saw? John Hanna, for the Patriots. Fortunately, went to Alabama, but guy was great. Who's the best center you ever saw? Mike Webster. Just automatic. Who's the best defensive end you ever saw? Reggie White. Followed very closely by Bruce Smith. By Bruce Smith. Who's the best interior defensive lineman you ever saw? Well, up until about 5 years ago, it was always Mean Joe Green. I mean, Bob Lilly for the Cowboys was close. I grew up watching Mean Joe Green. He was a dude. Okay, Mean Joe Green was a dude. But if I want to be objective, nobody's ever played the position that I've seen any better than Aaron Donald.
Yeah, John Randall's in
right
that
now.
conversation. John Randall was 137 sacks from the interior.
From the interior.
God,
it's just it's
ridiculous.
a ridiculous. Who's the best cover guy you ever saw? Deion. Who's the best safety you ever saw? Listen, I don't know where the stats come in all this stuff. Ain't nobody I wanted back there more than Ronnie Lott. I'll put Ronnie Lott back. I'll hear a case for Rod Woodson. I know he was faster and all that stuff. Larry Wilson ended up with a gazillion interceptions. Paul Krause, I think, is the all-time leader in interceptions.
Some of the guys that
who do I want back there? Ronnie Lott.
I'd have that might be the best position to have the argument because I played against Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed. If you find somebody better than those two guys, woo.
Ronnie Lott told him to cut his finger off at halftime.
Do not get me wrong. Like I want to punch my jaw when I hear that. I love that. That position, that's a tough one. Because Rod Woodson, you said it. I mean, Gordy might be running down here. That's his Purdue guy. But,
Yeah.
I mean, all of them, you can make a case for all of those guys.
Yeah, and Ed Reed. Oof, my
God,
goodness.
that was so good.
Lott came into the league at the same time as Kenny Easley, who played for Seattle, and for a while they were thought to be equal. And Kenny Easley was a great football player, but Lott almost doubled him up by the time they had finished. The first 3 or 4 years of their careers, like, those guys are pretty equal. And by the time you got to the end, it was like, oh no, man, Ronnie Lott. But no, those are great conversations. Does Gronkowski now go up into the list? I mean, for a lot of people,
Playoff touchdowns.
For a lot of people, he was there already. For who's the best tight end you ever saw? For me, it was Kellen Winslow growing up, and then it was Tony Gonzalez.
And I'm biased to Antonio Gates.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That guy's going to the Hall of Fame too. But Gronkowski's right there.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I think
Gronkowski's
those
in that.
and you could add another name. Like those are the top 5. You add another name.
You almost have to go eras because if you're going to you're going to go back say 1990. You're going to say Kellen Winslow. You're going to say Ozzie Newsome. And then if you go back a little bit further, you're going to say Mike Ditka. These are your Hall of Fame tight ends from that era. Once you get past that, though, the receiving numbers for Gonzalez, for Gronkowski, especially when you go for playoff TDs, for Antonio Gates, are going to so far dwarf
Kelsey
those.
will be there.
Kelsey, yeah, of course. Their numbers as the passing game has evolved, but my goodness, impact on the game. Did Gronkowski look like he had fresh legs yesterday? That he hasn't been, injured for half the season?
You think that's him and is he done? Is he coming back? I know it's
You're
tough
asking
to
me to
say.
get in Gronk's head?
Right.
I got no
But you
good
think about
ideas.
like Leonard Fournette signed a 1-year deal too. Like what's Leonard going to do? Like he's made himself some money in this postseason run.
Yes.
Without question. I mean, there's going to be a team. I don't know if it's Tampa, but there's going to be a team that wants his services. And I don't know what that contract looks like. Running back position's always tough to try to gauge, but he's made himself at least one more deal.
I think he could do, at the very least, a deal like Latavius Murray did with the Saints or a deal like Mark Ingram did with the Ravens. That's the least, because both of those backs were older when they signed those deals than Leonard is now. So that's somewhere between $3 and $4 million a year. There's no reason he can't do that. I don't know if he's going to get a long-term deal because of some of the baggage, but if you had a chance to sign Leonard Fournette for a 2-year deal at I don't know, $5 million per, that seems like a good place to put some of your money.
I agree with you there. Going back to the tight end conversation, Juice 42 inside the Bayou 4 chat. What about Jason Witten and Greg Olsen? Witten's stats are definitely in there. I don't know why we don't add him to this conversation. He always gets left out.
I loved Witten's game, okay, because it seemed like he caught more third down passes. He and Olsen caught just a ton of third down passes, and their overall stats. I hate the word compiler because if you stay in the league that long, catching me balls, you're more than a compiler. When you talk about dynamic plays,
not necessarily game changers. The defense starts their game plan with you type. You know what I'm saying?
Because they had to do that for Gonzalez. They had to do that for Gates. They have to do that for Gronkowski. I never felt like they had to do that for Witten and Olsen.
When we played a team in the division that saw Gates too many times, they were tired of it. He would be in the slot, Hanny, and they would have two guys like he was a gunner on punt. They would have two guys man coverage,
Right.
and they weren't letting Gates beat them. I mean, and we had Vincent Jackson, who's a Pro Bowl receiver on one side, Malcolm Floyd, who's a hell of a receiver on the other side, Chris Chambers in the slot, and they still were double teaming him.
Those guys were fantastic football, and I know Olsen just retired about a week or so ago. The dynamic plays that Gonzalez made, that Gates made, that Gronkowski made, I just don't remember seeing nearly as many out of those two guys.
agree.
That's part. I see. These are the debates that I like because I didn't put those guys on my list. And I got to think about why I didn't put those guys on my list. Well, that's why I didn't. I had, when I put Ronnie Lott out there, if I had to put this in a publication and have it in stone forevermore, man, I had to think a long time about Ed Reed. I mean, was Ronnie Lott really better than Ed Reed? I don't know. I mean, it's a good hard question. There's not many spots in my all-time list of guys that just I don't want to hear any arguments. We're done arguing.
right.
Like, you're never getting me off of Lou Gehrig at first base. You're never getting me off of Michael Jordan at shooting guard.
Right.
Okay, you're never getting me off of Magic at point. You're gonna play hell getting me off of Munoz. Okay, at that position. You're gonna play really hell getting me off of Jim Brown. Barry Sanders came the closest, but you're going to play really hell get me off of Jim Brown. They're just most of these things are up for debate.
What about fullback? We're sitting here talking about this for 7 minutes, and we hadn't even talked greatest fullback.
Marion Motley.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Go watch the tape.
See this guy right here?
Marion Motley did
bobblehead.
everything that Mike Allstott did, and he did it with
Larry
a
Zonka?
leather helmet.
Larry Zonka?
Consider him more of a one-back. He was a lead back.
Jim Taylor?
Yeah, Jimmy was great. Yeah, Jimmy was great.
Tom Rathman?
Different style of offense.
West Coast offense.
Marion Motley was a dude.
Moose.
You need to go look some film.
Daryl Johnson.
He's just a mean man on the football field.
Craig Ironhead Hayward.
He was a one-back.
Hey, he came down on that power too, though.
That's your assignment for tomorrow. You got to go watch some Marion Motley film. Take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, brought to you by Richard's Honda, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Terrio with Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge, and you've got to come see us for the New Year's Certified Pre-Owned event. CPO vehicles come with an unlimited mileage warranty, and right now we're offering a 2-month payment credit up to $1,500, as well as 1.99% for 36 months on all eligible models. Check them out at mbobr.com or go see my guys Nick and Hess to take your new year up a gear. See dealer for complete details and exclusions. Qualified customers only. Subject credit approval by NBFS. Must take delivery by March 1st, 2021.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health. Innovating healthcare.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Camry for $299 a month. That's $299 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Hand injury lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Right now, the party rolls on for Tampa Bay for the Buccaneers' 31-9 rout of the Chiefs in Super Bowl 55. 7-time Super Bowl champ and 5-time Super Bowl MVP quarterback Tom Brady today crediting Tampa's defense, especially the D-line, in shutting down Kansas City's potent offense and playing a pivotal role in the win. Defensive coordinator Todd Bowles could not have scripted his game plan any better, believes ESPN's Ryan Clark.
Todd Bowles found ways to pressure the quarterback, whether he brought the blitz, which he only had to do 10% of the time, or he rushed it forward. The thing they did was keep everything in front of them and make Patrick Mahomes earn it. He not only had to earn it, he had to read it in his drop. And when Shaq Barrett and JPP were getting after Patrick Mahomes, it wasn't a lot of time to read, it wasn't a lot of time to look, it wasn't a lot of time to drop.
The Vikings promoted Clint Kubiak to offensive coordinator. He was Minnesota's QB coach the last 2 seasons. The 33-year-old succeeds his dad, Gary, who retired last month. College hoop, undefeated second-ranked Baylor postponed 3 more games because of COVID-19 thresholds.
Spend your tax return wisely. With Straight Talk Wireless, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense. Tune in to Straight Talk.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Our number 3, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Real quick, before we move on, I did leave out a name in my fullback conversation, Lorenzo Neal. Low Neal, Low Daddy was the man, the myth, the legend.
I need 500 words on Marion Motley tomorrow, and you can't use Wikipedia. Okay.
Let me tell you something. He better be damn good.
I
know who he is, but I better be wowed because I gave you a list.
He used to play linebacker too. Okay, so it's a bad man. Anyway,
anybody that you're putting in a bad man category over Larry Zonka and Mike Allstott and Low Neal and Moose Johnson.
He did everything those guys did without equipment.
It actually studies that it's better without equipment than with equipment.
You just go back and look at this guy who played. I say without equipment. I'm almost not joking. I mean, he played in the 40s and 50s. So anyway, it's a fun debate to have on these things. You know, before we first started doing this, these were the debates that ruled sports talk. So I like to go back and revisit them from time to time. Didn't have a chance to watch very much college basketball this weekend between the Super Bowl and some other things going on in my life. Didn't get a chance to see much. I didn't get to see, but you did, and I'm happy about that. the first loss for Alabama this weekend in SEC basketball. Mizzou got them by 3. It was a big lead for Missouri at the half. They were up 16. Bama made a run at them in the second half, came up just short.
Missouri was way more physical with Alabama than other teams have been with them. Anytime they came into the paint, which we know Alabama either makes their baskets beyond the arc or inside the paint, they were physical. Missouri had 9 blocks in this game, but the story for me was they made Alabama shoot 21 free throws. Now, Alabama, when you look at it, in some of these big games, they've only gone to the line like 6, maybe 11 times. Teams aren't physical with them. They're so worried about them kicking it back out beyond the arc that they kind of play timid. That wasn't the case for Missouri. Missouri was all over them. Anytime they came into the paint, they had to feel it. And did Alabama make their comeback because they're a great scoring team? Absolutely they did. And some of that's because Missouri shot 3 from 20 from beyond the arc. I mean, they didn't shoot it well, but on the defensive end, they were smothering, and they kind of showed a little bit of a blueprint. Now, Missouri's very talented, and I said it, I think it was last week. I mean, Mizzou could play themselves into a 3 seed in this NCAA tournament, but they have a blueprint out. Be more physical with Alabama. Now, not every team can do that, but if you can, like a team like Florida can be that, right? They've got some bigs that can do that. If you come in here, if you come into this paint, we're either going to put you on the line or we're going to block your shot, and we're going to make you have to earn it, because teams weren't making Alabama earn it. I mean, they would shoot 6 free throws and score 100 points in games. Like, they were doing it because they were dictating the offensive pace. So, man, I'll tell you what, Missouri's got some juice to them. If they shoot the ball well, that's a team that could go a long way.
Here's what I'm watching most closely this week and probably into the next 2. We're inside of a month now to the end of the regular season. You heard during the break, the SportsCenter break, that Baylor's going to be out 3 more games. Oof. And now this is one of the top 2 teams in the country. But one of the things that's starting to get kicked around right now is teams opting out. Teams just saying, you get to this point where you say, listen, we're 4-14. We've played 18 games. We should have played 28. The chances of us winning our conference tournament are not good. I'm down to fill in the blank, 4, 5, 6, 7 scholarship players. My kids have been here since last summer. Unlike the football players, they didn't get to go home at Christmas. Maybe some of them did. I shouldn't speak for everybody, but a lot of those, there were games through the holidays. Whereas the football players, a lot of them, by the time they got to Christmas, got to go home and take a break. How many teams, and I'm sorry, I'm not counting Baylor in this, the really good teams are going to be there. But we're talking about the lower level here. You go look at a scoreboard any day for college basketball right now, and you're going to have 12 to 15 cancellations. And then LSU had a postponement, which may end up very well being a cancellation, but every single day. And I wonder, when we get to the end of February, how many teams are going to just say, you know what, count us out. We're going home.
You had about a 20-game schedule and 4 got canceled so far today or postponed. And so, average-wise, if you had a full slate, you're about right. And I don't think it's going to come from the Power 5 conferences.
No.
Because you've got TV contracts, you've got obligations that you have. So Vanderbilt, you can't do it. Sorry. You've been awful this year. You can't do it. I even think like some of your bigger group of 5, when I start talking about, CUSA and some of those conferences, hey, no, you can't do it. You're gonna show up and play. But when you start talking about the Patriot League and
the American East, I just picked one. Okay, Maine has played 9 games this year.
Yeah,
they are 2-7.
Yeah,
if Maine next week decides, you know what, we've had enough, we're gonna shut things down, and maybe if Maine does, Binghamton does, because Binghamton is behind Maine in the American East Conference. And I definitely knew that when I woke up this morning. I was thinking about Maine Black Bear basketball. Yep. But it is, I think it's concerning as we get toward the finish line. And Lord knows I don't want to do a COVID segment if I don't absolutely have to. So we'll move on. But that's what's starting to really concern me. And it just kind of triggered when I heard, that thing about Baylor during the SportsCenter update.
Our team like Loyola in Maryland in the Patriot League, they've played 6 games. They've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games postponed already this year.
But I'll bet they were practicing.
Yeah. Oh, with who they could.
What did we talk about during when the football players got here in June, all of June, all of July, all of August, and damn near all of September before they could play a game. Yeah. That got old. Yeah. And they were so mentally fatigued that it was like, wait a minute, you put me in isolation for 4 months here. I can see my parents, but only on Zoom. Mm-hmm. I can't see my girlfriend at all because she's halfway across the state and,
can't leave. Yeah.
Right. The restrictions are not now what they were then, but they ain't nothing either. So I'm kind of concerned as we get down. They're going to finish. I'm not concerned about them not finishing. I'm just wondering
how many teams decide.
Yeah.
How many? Of course, I'm not picking on the Patriot League, but it's what I have pulled up in front of me. You've got Lee, who's 3-7, Holy Cross, who's 2-8, Loyola, Maryland, who's 1-5. Some of those teams, it's like, you know what? I'm sitting here. Colgate they've played 8 games. They're 7-1. Navy's 11-2. Yeah, and we're not catching that. Army's 9-4. Yeah, we're out. We'll see y'all later. We'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Like a couple of weeks left. We're down to 5 scholarship. No, we're going to be done. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, brought to you by Garcia Roofing, your trusted home improvement experts. They were my trusted, that's for sure, because I trusted them with that free roof inspection, and boy, did it pay off. They came out to the house and told me exactly what I needed, and I've told y'all the story. They saved me thousands of dollars because what I thought was a small problem, because, yes, they do that as well. They can replace your entire roof at your house or at your business, but don't forget about the small things, or at least what you think is a small thing. They'll come, check it out, and it could be a large thing. It could be that small repair. They do that, and they can do those small things, but it could be something that is way bigger than you think, and they're going to give you that free roof inspection that's absolutely free. Hanny.
Your trusted home improvement experts, not just here in Baton Rouge, but also in New Orleans and on the North Shore, in Lafayette, and now into Lake Charles. Roof now and pay later with Garcia Roofing, and also the best warranty in the business, 50 years. So call today, 756-3100. Online, it's GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Corolla for $235 per month. That's right, $235 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We're recapping Super Bowl 55. Join us Monday, AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
So I didn't get a chance to watch very much college basketball this weekend, but I did watch a little bit of pro basketball. Pelicans have managed to string together a pretty nice little run of hoops here. They won 3 in a row. Really entertaining game with the Grizzlies. Strong finish by them. Beat John Morant and group by 9. Hard fought overtime, not overtime, but a road win, 1-point win against the Pacers.
Yep.
Very impressive performance against Playboy Marty's Suns.
Yeah, Playboy.
Like all that. So there's a lot of things to like during this little run. But can I tell you what the best part of it is? And this will be right in your wheelhouse, Hess, because you said this last summer when we were talking about, there's no games, and we spent a decent amount of time talking about the Pelicans as they were putting the team together. So what do you think is the most encouraging thing about the 3 games here? And if you want to go back, they've won 5 out of 7. What is the biggest encouraging thing to you?
From my viewpoint, it is the play of Lonzo Ball.
Yes, it is.
And the second, small, when it comes to things that probably have led to it, but Jackson Hayes. If you're not going to perform, you're going to sit by me.
Right. In the last 7 games, and let me just take the wins. Lonzo Ball has shot 55%, 54%, 54%. 50%, 37% in limited minutes when he went out against Washington because he turned his ankle trying to guard Bradley Beal. So throw the last part of that out. He's shooting somewhere in the area of 52, 53% from the floor in the 5 wins that they've had. Hey, guess what, though? There's more. Last 5 wins out of 7 games. 67% from 3 against Memphis, 56% from 3 against Indianapolis, or against Indiana, excuse me.
Right.
57% from 3 against Phoenix, 54% from 3 against Milwaukee, and again 43% in that game where he left with the injury against Washington. When Lonzo Ball shoots the ball well, this is a much, much, much different basketball team. It's a much harder team to beat.
In all phases, I mean, even when he takes care of the basketball, when he's playing the defense that we know he's capable of playing, when he shoots the ball well, now that's the biggest factor, but he is so key to this team because we've talked about it. They have pillars. They have pillars in Zion and Ingram. We know that, but they need somebody else to be that other guy because all the great NBA teams, they have 3 players. Like they've got 2 pillars and they've got a third guy who's not as good as the 2 pillars, but he is there and he can take over games. And Lonzo is that guy. He's the candidate for the Pelicans to do that. And look, he's plus 21 the other night against the Grizzlies. When he plays well, this team wins. It's pretty simple.
But is it a mirage, though? I mean, we can't expect realistically Lonzo Ball to shoot 52% from the floor. I'd be happy if he shot 42% from the floor for the, over the course of, an entire season, okay? Just shoot for this season, with this streak has gotten him up to 42%. That's why I use that number. We can't expect him to shoot 56% from three. If he could shoot in the low 40s, 42% from three, and maybe get your average from the floor up to 44 or 45%. What bothers me about this is he just going through a hot streak? I mean, he's capable of that, or we're seeing a player
he's
start
not capable
to
of keeping this up.
Not
for
these numbers, but just
games.
reasonable numbers.
If he just, when you look at when he thrives, he has really good shot selection. He really does.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's bad, when he's off, it's catch and shoot no matter the situation. Like, it's predetermined. Like, he'll be sitting there, he'll catch the ball, defender on him. Well, I'm going to shoot it because I already thought I was going to shoot it. When he's working for his shot to get open, that's when he's at his best, because he can create. It's just when he makes up his mind and he sits still and he has his feet flat on the floor.
I don't think he can create, and I'm going to give you a number.
Off the ball he can.
Well, he can move off the ball, but he can't create his own shot. And when scorers go through shooting slumps, what are they, the good ones, what do? They drive the ball in the hole and they try to get to the free throw line, and he just won't do it. Even in this great stretch that he's having, the Washington game didn't go to the line. Milwaukee game didn't go to the line. Not once. We're talking about the point. Not once. The Phoenix game, they won that by 22. Didn't go to the line. The Memphis game, they won that one by 9. Terrific ball game. Didn't go to the line. In those 5 wins, he is a combined 1 for 2 from the free throw line. And that was against Indiana. He is a catch and shoot guy. He's not going to go to the goal very often at all. But he's playing really well right now. So do you buy in? Or are you thinking, wow, I have all of a sudden acquired a more attractive trade asset?
You have.
As you go into March, or as we get closer to trade deadline, I should say?
I would be on the phone with every team that feels like they're that player away. Whoever's looking for what we know his skill set can be.
Which player? Because the only thing you can count on really is the defense. You can't count on him to shoot like this.
No, you can't. But there's teams out there that are looking for that one defensive piece that maybe potentially can give us some offensive output and streaks. All right, there's teams out there that right now you could go and you could call, and they're looking for that. But are you happy with what you're getting back, knowing where his contract is and what it's going to expire, and what you potentially, the leverage that you have, which is not a lot. What's the best case scenario for you? What can you realistically get?
I don't know if it's as much as giving up the potential reward of keeping him around to the rest of the season and seeing if he finally has, turned the corner. And listen, we're still talking about a young guy. We're not talking about a 10-year vet in the league. I mean, he's 23. That right now, after 5 years in the, four full years in the league, we're finally talking about a guy who's been knocked around, worked on his game to the point where he's really ready to blossom into the type of talent that made him the number 2 pick in the draft in the first place. Or is this all a mirage? Over 5 games, he got hot. Happens 150 times a year to guys, who average what he does, about, 12 to 14 points a game. He's in that range most of the time. Those guys get hot from time to time. Never lasts. What do you think?
The betting money's probably on the it won't last side.
These numbers can't last, but just regular numbers.
I'm just talking about being consistent and being the guy that they feel like can bring them to a certain point in the future with Ingram and Zion.
I don't know what kind of trade value he has right now. It does not seem to be very much. J.J. Redick is in maybe the worst shooting slump of his career, but he has some trade value because nobody thinks it'll last. They think if you send him to a contender, he could be that piece off the bench, that guy that could come in and drain a couple of threes and give you some quality minutes. I don't know that anybody thinks that they're Lonzo Ball away from moving on. You could probably put him in some kind of package that got you Kelly Oubre back from the Warriors. I don't know if that
maybe
is that better or worse? I mean, their player efficiency ratings is not a mountain of difference between the two. Okay,
right.
So I was encouraged to watch him play like that. It was fun. It was like, hey, that's what you guys had in mind when you and you see Zion getting better every night. I see Brandon Ingram getting better every night. those guys are pillars. And Steven Adams has been fantastic. Eric Bledsoe has not, but he's had his moments, good and bad, for him.
What about the LA Clippers? Patrick Beverley is their starting point guard. We know that Paul George is their 2, Kawhi is their 3, and they can kind of move those pieces. They're a smaller lineup. Serge Ibaka is their 5. That's somebody that, you know, you could pair with Kawhi Leonard, his defensive style, and I could see something like that happening, but what would the Pelicans want back? Because when you look at their other trade assets as far as the Clippers, they're older players. You're Lou Williams and Patrick Beverley himself and Reggie Jackson and Marcus Morris. You don't want any of that.
I don't like the trade. From the Clippers standpoint, and you didn't even get to what New Orleans might get back. I don't like the trade for the Clippers because Patrick Beverley is a badass. You ever watch him play? He ain't scared of nobody, man. He will be up in your face. He will play defense. He will talk to you. He is all about crawling up in your brain and setting up camp.
Yep.
And the Clippers, who have in Kawhi Leonard the most passive-minded superstar in the league. He's got top 5 games. There's no question about it. But you're never going to see Kawhi, rally the guys around. And Paul George is very much the same way. They need Patrick Beverley. They need that attitude, and Lou Williams too, because it's more on the offensive end with him. But with Beverley, it's the man. This guy is as tough as a $2 steak. That's Beverley, and they play the Lakers. They need somebody to stand up for them. You bring in Lonzo Ball, and I don't think Ball's better than Beverley. In fact, I know he's not. He's younger. He's got more potential, but he's not better right now, not for a playoff run. Lonzo's got just as passive a personality as Kawhi and Paul George do. That trade doesn't work for me. The Golden State thing is intriguing because they got some things that they could swap maybe, and Lord knows when Klay Thompson gets back, they got enough people who can score. Thompson's not going to be back this year, but they got people who could put the ball in the basket. They might actually have a need for him. I don't know. I did enjoy watching him play well, though. That was fun. That Memphis game was particularly entertaining.
I like Ja Morant and Zion going after each other. I hope to see that for a decade.
I think you will.
Just in the same franchises.
I think you will. Today's show brought to you in part by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. 3 different locations. Pain from auto accidents, sports injuries. Sometimes you just get a little bit older and things start to hurt a little bit more. You got a disc problem, you got a muscle problem, you got a ligament strain, you got neck or back discomfort. Let them ease your suffering. They'll put you through a tailor-made series of exercises and stretches, and then if you move on, you need to get some dry needling, electric nerve stimulation, ultrasound, or cryotherapy. They can help you out. Listen, they've done it for me. They've done it for other members of my family. So, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, 13406 Airline Highway, 2832 Plank Road, and on Jefferson Highway near Drusilla with easy access from both I-10 and I-12. Louisiana Health and Injury Centers and Dr. Michael Goff.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. Off the Bench, Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Join us for a Monday edition of Game Time, live from Ivar Sports Bar. We recap Super Bowl 55 between the Buccaneers and the Chiefs and look ahead to the rest of the week. Jimmy Ott's Game Time, 6 p.m., 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Super Bowl in our rearview mirror now. What'd you do on Super Bowl weekend? Hester and I both had birthday parties for little ones.
We did.
So I got to get the 411 on the petting zoo. If you're going to bring the petting zoo for just a few kids.
So it's really like my wife. She's the real MVP of the family. It was her idea, and it's funny. Memphis did ask for Joe Burrow to come to his birthday party, and yes, he's only turning 5. Like, does he really know who Joe Burrow is? Yes, he knows everything about Joe Burrow and really football because his older brothers do. And so we couldn't get Joe to come to the birthday party, but
rehab, yeah.
Katie did get a couple of baby goats to come, so I feel like that was the second best thing.
So you put something on Twitter where it looked like y'all may have had a hard time catching one or two of the baby goats, right?
We had baby goats, we had a baby pig, we had puppies, we had chicks, we had what else am I missing?
Did you dress
here?
up as Old McDonald?
Oh, we had bunny rabbits.
Okay, yeah.
We did. No Old McDonald. I came straight wheel screeching from the show.
That's
You let me
right,
leave
that's
a couple
right.
minutes early, which was good.
Yeah.
We had it early because we thought we had baseball practice, but of course it started to rain as soon as I
Weather.
got in my car. So we had the petting zoo in the garage there at the house.
My 2-year-old, my nephew turned 2 this weekend. He's got one of those little mini basketball goals, and obviously he watches a reasonable amount of TV because he's talking, but he doesn't say a whole lot. And so his favorite thing to do is to take the ball and go put it in the goal and go Kobe.
I love that. I love that that's still a thing, man.
I'm asking my brother and his wife, how much basketball is this kid watching? It's his favorite. Where Kobe.
That's right. Nobody can tell me they've not shot a piece of paper in a trash can and not said Kobe at least once.
I mean, I cracked up because I hadn't heard him do that before. He's
That's
2,
good.
right? So he's obviously informed about the legend. What else did you take from the Super Bowl this weekend?
Yeah.
We're talking about kind of winners and losers. Who gained it outside of the Tom Brady's of the
Right.
world?
Well, one of the
who
things-
gained and lost the most?
Well, one of the things that when you start talking about who gained the most, who lost the most, I want to know what these two teams are going to look like coming back.
Mhm.
Because when we look at the Chiefs, they got a lot of their talent coming back, and we'll see who they add. I would assume the offensive line, after what they saw, is going to be a key issue for them. They want to make sure they never get in that situation again, but more so for the Buccaneers, because obviously we talk more Buccaneers than Chiefs here because they're in the NFC South.
Mhm.
Okay, so Leonard Fournette signed a 1-year deal back in September. What does he look like? We said, what he did definitely parlayed into a different contract. Okay, they have Ronald Jones. So what did they do there? Did they sign and have a 2-back system, which has worked for a lot of teams in the NFL? What happens with Gronk? Gronk came out of retirement for Tom Brady. Is he going to say, you know what? I want another one. I really like being Gronk. Being Gronk's fun. I'm going to go be Gronk and be a WWE champion. Is that what he's going to do? There's going to be question marks. Antonio Brown. I mean, we could go down the list. There's more question marks with the Buccaneers side just because of how they kind of pieced this team together, like Ndamukong Suh, guys like that. So the Chiefs, we think, are going to look the same, just going to add pieces. I fully expect them to be back in the same position, if not very close, next year. But with the Buccaneers and how competitive the NFC South truly is. I mean, there's been 3 teams in the last couple of years make the Super Bowl from the South, and it hadn't even been the Saints. And the Saints have kind of been the gold standard in the NFC South, okay? So we know it's a very competitive division. Can the Panthers take a step? The Falcons with their new coach, are they going to take a step? What are the Saints going to look like without Drew Brees and some different pieces? The Buccaneers, though, big question mark just because this was really pieced together. Now, in a great way, but it was still pieced together. Tom Brady's going to come back. This is what he knows. This is who he is. He's going to be another year older. It's not proven to be a factor before now. Will it be another factor coming into next year?
So I'll give you a couple from me. Number one, I think a guy who won big yesterday was Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator for Tampa. Now, there's a great deal of discussion right now over whether the NFL should prohibit hiring of head coaches until after the Super Bowl to ensure that everybody gets interviewed that is on those staffs.
Right.
I am against that. I think that these teams should be able to move on. I don't think that if I'm give me a team that was hiring a coach, the Houston Texans this past year, that because my guy is on the Kansas City Chiefs, that or let me put it another way. I set this up wrong. Let me start over. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Houston Texans both hired coaches. The Chargers hired theirs first. They hired him off of a team that lost earlier in the playoffs, and they made the hire very quickly. The Texans, let's say for just a moment that they had wanted Eric Bieniemy. Why should the Chargers have to wait? Because the Texans want to hire somebody off of one of the Super Bowl teams. I think these teams ought to be able to move on. And if you believe that your guy is worth waiting for, then you wait for him.
Yeah.
But the other team shouldn't have to wait for him. Listen, there's any number of Patriot coordinators. I don't think that this is a racial issue. I think that this is a timing issue. There's any number of Patriot coordinators, white and African American, that missed out on some things that the Super Bowl presented. Eric Bieniemy, is that one of his problems? Is that he's been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years? Probably hasn't helped him very much. But I would have a hard time voting for something to say, I've got to wait on another team because they're not ready yet. No, I fired my coach. I can hire my coach without waiting until after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's a little different, though, in pro football because you haven't missed anything. Like it wouldn't be, I think, world changing if you decided to wait and every team had to wait. Because
well, some teams do. Some teams do wait on their coach because they want a guy out there.
There's been nothing 4 weeks ago that you missed if you didn't have that head coach in place.
I don't think it should be
college.
league mandated, though. I think that ought to be up to the individual clubs. If you want to hire somebody the day after you fire that guy, as long as you're adhering to the Rooney Rule and all of that stuff, then you can hire your guy right after New Year's. You want to wait until after the Super Bowl? Wait until after the Super Bowl. But why do if I'm the Chargers, why do I have to sit around waiting on the Texans or the Jets or whoever's hiring a coach that year? I know who I want. I've gone through my interview process. I'm ready to hire him, and I got to wait a month. No, I don't think that's right.
One of the things I wish would change in the NFL hiring system is I can't move to a team for a lateral move. Like if I'm an offensive coordinator here, but I see a better future for me and my family being the offensive coordinator here, I should be able to make that move. Like who are you to tell me where I can – like there's no other profession unless you have like a non-compete. Like in the coaching profession, if an offensive coordinator at the college level wants to be the OC here, they just do it. Like because if I have the choice to be the offensive coordinator for the Dolphins compared to the Jets, well, I'm going to go to the Dolphins right now, right? And if I have the opportunity 2 years down the road to be the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs instead of the Dolphins, well, I'm going to go do that because that betters me. That betters my career. I wish they wouldn't put what you can and can't do. I mean, LSU got caught in this one with Nielsen.
All right, so if I say Todd Bowles did himself a lot of good yesterday. I mean, it was just a fantastic performance by his team. And Eric Bieniemy didn't. Now, let me go through by the way, it was 25-1 that the Chiefs wouldn't score a touchdown. Okay, I couldn't believe that the numbers were that low. But is that fair to either one of these coaches? Because they played 3 months ago. And Bieniemy's offense ran rings around Bowles' defense. Okay? So is all of a sudden Bowles, who has been a head coach before, and for the Jets, I mean, he's kind of hamstrung. And Bieniemy, does their stock change all that differently?
It shouldn't, but it will because we are creatures of the moment.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Do I think that Eric Bieniemy is any less of a offensive coordinator now than I did before the game because the Chiefs didn't have anybody who could block Tampa's front? It's not his fault Eric Fisher went down. Do I think differently of Todd Bowles now than I did 48 hours ago? Maybe a little bit because that was pretty salty, but I gotta weigh both of them. Okay, yeah. I gotta go back. Hey, listen, the first time they played them, they got smoked.
Yeah.
Well, he made some adjustments. The second time they played them, they came back and pretty good.
Bieniemy's plan to try to use 5-man protection because he felt like I know I can't block them.
I thought he had called Matt
so
Flynn.
I'm going to get 5. I'm going to get 5 guys out in a route. I understand what he was trying to do. Somebody was blasting him. And I never want to be, you don't know football. But when you're struggling, just the thought of if I keep 7 guys in, well, that's going to be better protection than 5. It's not always the case because then you have 3 guys out in your route opposed to 5. Like a lot of teams, a majority of the teams would have done the same exact thing. Look, I'm trying to get my guys out because they got to cover them with someone. I've got a guy that dominates the middle of the football field in Travis Kelce. This is going to be the best case for me. And who are you going to bring in to not be a 5-man protection? Travis Kelce ain't real interested in being a blocking tight end back there. Now, he'll do it, but you want that guy out in his route. So that was their game plan. It didn't work that night, but I understand what he was trying to do.
Players. One guy, I think, he helped himself only in that I think yesterday might have been the first time a lot of people saw him play, and that's Devin White. If you watched him play, even if you're a casual football fan and you can't see, if maybe you watched him for the first time in these playoffs. Maybe you're a football fan, just hadn't had a chance to see Tampa this year. You're an AFC guy and you just haven't seen Tampa that much. You always like, wait a minute, I'm watching one of the best linebackers in football. It's got nothing to do with it being an LSU guy. Oh my! And NFC Championship game, Super Bowl, divisional round. There's not very many linebackers, if any, that's playing any better than he did in these playoffs. So I think Devin White got a lot more name recognition because you do it in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I know he was a top 5 pick, and a lot of people knew him in college, but off-the-ball linebackers just do not get the same press that the edge guys get or even the secondary guys, and you've got to be really good to get that press there at that position. He's a game changer. He is a generational type guy. Like, I don't throw that around very often. but he is. Like, look at what he can do, and look what he can still become. I mean, there's not anything that he can't do. Coverage, blitzing, sideline to sideline, short tackler, all those things.
Guy who hurt himself yesterday, let me ask it this way. Will Tommy Townsend punt in the NFL again? I hate to put it like that, but, hey, boss, you had 2 20-something yard punts in the Super Bowl. We can't
He's got a
have
great
this.
flow.
Yeah. I mean, he's been an NFL punter for a little while. He averaged 45 yards a kick.
Florida
There's
guy,
nothing
right?
wrong. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with 45-yard average in the regular season. But you got on the big stage and you threw up on yourself. No, we're gonna go find somebody
He'll punt
else.
again, but was not his best performance by any means.
Yikes. We are brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Ask Us is next, brought to you by Coors Light, the official beer of Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA, $2,000 can get you into a new Corolla for $235 per month. That's right, $235 per month. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
$14,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford Expedition XLT. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty, and with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Coming up on Tuesdays Off the Bench, we enter the long, cold dark of the offseason. But Coach O warms us up in his regular Tuesday spot. Matt Flynn stops by as well, and a brand new OTB mailbag. Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Ask Us is brought to you by Coors Light. Get some Coors Light this weekend. Bet you a lot of people hate Coors Light for the Super Bowl.
I bet you the Rockies were blue because they're always blue.
Yeah.
I bet you the silver bullet hit because it always hits. That's
right.
Things I can guarantee you. And I guarantee you the 10-ounce cans, you had more in your ice chest because...
Slim cans, more room.
Exactly.
Well, if you're enjoying the cold, crisp, refreshing taste of Coors Light, know that it is the official beer of Hanging with Hester and Hanny and Blue Moonlight Sky. The citrus sweet brew with tangerine flavor and notes to it. Invite you to partake of one the next time. Hey, listen, they work for basketball games too. It's not just because football season is over. Coors Light, the official beer of Hanging with Hester and Hanny. All right, we'll go to Ask Us in the Bayou Ford chat. Ask us, how big of a football fan are each of your wives?
My wife's a big football fan. Her uncle and father both played in the NFL. Her brother, scholarship player, and she's been following me around for a long time now.
She watches your teams, but she's not going to sit down and watch Buffalo and Minnesota, right? On a Monday Night
She'll
Football.
watch all the LSU players.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Cincinnati was playing and I wasn't home, she would watch Joe Burrow.
That's how
She'd
Tracy
watch
is.
Clyde.
She it's like, hey, how's so and so doing?
Right.
But she's not going to sit down on Monday Night Football if it's Miami and Atlanta. She's not going to do that. But if LSU's playing, kind of like that. Ask us, will anybody catch Tom Brady's 7 Super Bowl wins?
No.
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 You know what? I hate saying no to records being broken that aren't so far out there. Like I think there's only a couple of unbreakable records in sports. Like Cy Young's 511 wins. All right, the game, they don't play the game that way. That's never going to be. When people say, well, nobody will ever break DiMaggio's streak of 56 games in a row. Well, probably not, but somebody could. Nobody's ever breaking Cy Young's record. No. I don't know if anybody will ever have another 511 decisions, much less wins. Or, Johnny Vandermeer threw back-to-back no-hitters. Do I think that'll ever be broken? No, but it could. Somebody, somebody could catch, lightning in a bottle for 2 games. But when I look at Aaron Rodgers, who's near the end of his career and is, quite possibly going to retire with 1 Super Bowl win, and Drew Brees, who's going to retire with 80,000 yards and 1 Super Bowl win, and Jim Kelly, who went to 4 Super Bowls and won none, or Dan Marino, who went to 1 and didn't win it, or Warren Moon, who didn't go to any, or Dan Fouts. No, nobody's going to get to 7.
This guy has more titles than any one franchise. Like there's now that he has 7, there's no franchise that has 7.
It's just ridiculous. No. Ask us, how strange is it that many 16-year-olds no longer are in a rush to get their driver's license?
I don't know.
You still got a few ways. You got a ways to go, but
I don't have a 16-year-old. I guess maybe Uber or something. I don't know, but I tell you what, I could not wait. And I was 15. I was like the last couple of groups that was you had to be 15 with driver's ed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't wait. Like we woke up that morning and we was going to the DMV.
The DMV was in the courthouse when I was 15 years old, and I was waiting for them to open the door.
Yes.
Okay. In rural Louisiana, you needed a vehicle. Open up the door, boss. Let's go to work.
Yeah.
Ask us, can LSU win the SEC in baseball? Sure, but there's like 7 teams that could win it too. Ask us, what will the LSU football record be next year? Now that you know who the whole staff is, I ain't answering that.
Yeah,
I mean, I could, but all I'd be doing was throwing you a number.
There's 3 games that are going to swing your record.
9 wins. Who knows? Ask us if you could watch any one player in LSU history play one more game in any sport, no matter the age, they're still in their prime.
Pistol Pete.
Yeah, that's a great one. I mean, this is like one of those show topics that you could do for multiple segments. I never saw Maravich play. I never saw Cannon play. I never saw Pettit play.
Right.
I never saw Casanova play. I never saw Stovall play.
Right.
I mean, any of the real
I saw
greats.
Shaq. I saw Todd Walker. I saw Kevin Falk, and so I consider them greats.
But if you want to say of the people that that I saw, that's just like, hey, I think where he's going. This is from Champ. I think what he's going for is, man, you could just put one guy back in his prime for one day. Who'd you really have fun watching? Well, okay, but I
no
I didn't
3-point
see
line, no shot clock, and still did what he did.
But I think what he's going for is guys that you've seen, not guys that you haven't. If you could see a guy that you've seen before play one more time, see, I could really get into going and watch Chris Jackson play.
Yeah, that's not a bad one.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf could fill it up. Ask us in honor of Flynn. It's National Go Fly a Kite Day.
Ooh.
Who was someone you had to brush off, and what was it about?
I don't know. Brush off.
Can we count spam calls? Brush them off all the time.
It's easy. I brush my scone off. The guy's always.
Hey,
he's always trying to come in here early. I'm like, dude, wait your turn. He's probably outside watching the monitor right now. We're about to finish up. We got 2 minutes left.
Ask us, what's a food everyone else loves but you can't stand?
I love everything. I am the non-pickiest eater that you'll ever find.
I love tomato sauce. I put ketchup on a lot of things,
Don't like
but
tomatoes?
I will not eat a raw tomato. I
don't prefer raw tomatoes, but salsa, spaghetti sauce. Yeah.
Just not my idea. Ask us, did you enjoy the Costanza face commercial? Yes.
Yeah, it was good.
That's it. Let's see. Spin the wheel.
I've got one real quick. I see. Will Beth Torino win her first SEC softball title? Really good team. They're 5th in the country. They've got voted to be the 2nd team in the SEC behind Alabama, although they're ahead of Alabama in the poll, so that one's a little different there. They return a really, really good roster, and Beth does a fantastic job. They've got as good a chance to win the SEC as anyone.
Doesn't the national rankings for softball look an awful lot like the national rankings for baseball?
Maybe even more so.
Yeah, like there's 7 or 8 teams in the top 20.
Yeah, maybe even more so. So in the Bayou Ford, okay, if you got a chance to see Shaq or Pistol Pete, which one would you choose?
Well, I saw Shaq so many times that I'd want to see Pistol Pete. I've only seen film of Pistol Pete. And I've only seen highlights, really, of Pistol Pete. Like, for instance, I have never in my life seen Pistol Pete get a shot blocked. I'm sure it happened somewhere. All I saw was a good stuff. I want to see a whole game.
Real quick, perfect Super Bowl food.
Pizza.
Yeah. 7-layer dip always hits.
Yeah.
Always.
That's pretty strong.
Coors Light.
Thanks to everybody for participating. For Cade Wazan, for Paul O'Neill and Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for AFR 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle,